Sports.
Jackie, Yopaj, FBZ, Tims, and Scheme. I want to say Skem. Thank you for
Let's go.
I know, I'm on it now. Next team up against them is going to be PSG LGD.
Balance in all things. PSG LGD.
Last year's runner-ups, Arme, Nothing to Say, Faith Bian, Jinkyu, and Y. This team is a scary team, and it's scary to meet them, and even to see them in the lower bracket if you're going up against them. So we'll see how Boom Esports will be able to adjust. Boom Esports, though, did actually beat the defending champions to get here. They took out Team Spirit, and they've developed a lot during the group stages and the tournaments sheet.
Yeah, I mean, they beat the winners of all TI. What's the second placer team?
These runner-ups.
It only gets easier from here, right?
100%. I mean, this team have come a very long way throughout the year. Their drafting has expanded like amazingly. At Arlington Major even, I think they had one of the newest and freshest drafts I'd seen from them as a team when they played against LGD in that upper bracket. So I've just really enjoyed how they've really been pushing their comfort zone to get to here.
Yeah. Having followed the SCA region for a really long time, this is probably the ultimate stack they could have formed out of all the new stars that were coming in in the last couple of years. Obviously getting Yopaj, FBZ being with the team, being in Boom since like, what, 2018 or something? And then getting Scam as well to bring all those good ideas that he usually does bring to any single team.
But it's also the fact that, don't forget how they got to this position, right? They were nearly going to be eliminated from the group stage. They had to beat EG, who was first in the group. They 2-0'd them. Then they went to a tiebreaker. They beat Sonics, they beat BetBoom quite swiftly. And then they beat Team Spirit. Like, they've gone probably the hardest journey possible to get to the lower bracket. And now they're, like, beating the previous TI champion, going to second place. Like, if they beat PSG, that's the type of momentum that you have as a team, like beating first place, the runner-ups. Like, now you have to maybe look at them with a different eye, because, yeah.
Do you agree that Giants are falling in the lower bracket? Like most of them, right? Like we've seen EG, we've seen Team Spirit.
I'm sure a lot of the teams watching these games are very happy from the upper bracket, because there's always a chance that you could have met Team Spirit. You could still meet PSG, LGD, and people were, I'm sure, afraid of EG. They run through the group stages. It's like, okay, what's going on? What's this team doing? Yes, SEA today could come out just looking spectacular. Already in the upper bracket, and then the previous match of Beast Coast, SA, and now also SEA as Boom Esports have their chance. So yeah, the Giants seem to be falling. You're right, Lizard.
And the Giants did look kind of wounded when it comes to PSG LGD throughout the year. They're an amazing team, but they aren't the team from the last year in which whatever they pick, like VP back in the day, pick any hero in the game and win a tournament with all heroes drafted, right? PSG LGD isn't necessarily the same. We've seen them falter at the Arlington Major. We've also seen them in the DPC seasons. Like in the DPC seasons, arguably they didn't take it as seriously as other teams, but it's not like they were beating every single match. They struggled.
What do you think of PSG LGD here, Sheeps?
I am concerned by them. I think they said that they don't know how to win on this patch, because obviously the last time we really saw them properly was at Arlington, and there's been a patch since then, and a lot has changed. And even there, they were kind of forcing weird drafts with their like double Naga pick in grand finals. They've had like a little bit of cracks and stuff, and it must feel bad as well. They said that they're going to try their best, but you're coming into this with Faith Bian, who intends on retiring. I think Arme also said that he is looking to retire soon and bow out at his peak. So how do you really maintain that strength of mind when you have two players that want to retire?
I feel like you need to harness that in a way. It's like, this is the final run. We will eventually kind of go, this can be it. But it is a little bit difficult to say. I think the success that they've found so far in the tournament, it's only been on 2 or 3 heroes opening styles, unlike other teams where they've opened a much more variety. So yeah, a little bit of a weaker PSG this time around.
All right, well, it seems like the players are ready to start picking and banning some heroes, so we're going to be going into match 1 here. It's going to be a good one.
Boom Esports versus PSG LGD. Game 1.
All right, and we get to be a little bit nerdy now as we go into the picks and jazz. I can see she nodding at this. Yes, we are. But just to kind of, before we go too much into the kind of heroes, but in terms of the players, because it does take them a little while to get, a few moments to get started, who are we really focusing on if I'm watching from home from each team?
Like, if I'm looking at PSG LGD, I'm looking at Fabian. Like, this man is retiring, but he's not retired yet. He needs to be enabled. Like, you can't give him heroes that are countered by one or two on the opposite side. Like the Enigma that was drafted for him in recent games, right? Like versus Secret, he's countered by the Global plus another laner. If you enable Fabian like he was enabled in the DP game, he can be that third carry.
Yeah, and on the flip side for Boom, I think FBZ, we don't really mention him too many times, but in that previous series...
It's offlaners again. This is the...
Coincidentally, but it's just the fact that in that series, he was a Beastmaster, he had the lowest net worth out of anyone, but he found ways to play his hero without dying. He ended the game 2-1-13. He was instrumental in punishing Team Spirit's lifestealer when he overextended Brawl into death. So I think FBZ is kind of like
Boom, sakali.
The broadcast I've seen, where he consistently just finds his way to
guys,
end the
wala na
game.
yung mga
What do you
EG
think
nyo,
who enables the offlaners better?
Bukas, OG na yung
Zinchu
wala
or
na.
Tims? Shippo, or are they kind of similar?
I am a huge Tim's fan. I think it's hard for me to say because I'll be real, I don't particularly look at the pos fours of these teams too much. Like, for Boom, I just want to add on to what T said. Yeah, you can look at FBZ, but like this team is evolving. It used to be that everyone would just pile everything onto Yopaj to give them the best game, and that's what I said the last time we paneled for Boom. But then you watch how they played against Spirit, and actually they completely turned their playstyle around to be very Jackie focused. Yopaj was playing that utility Mars from mid, buying Refresher and trusting his carry to win the game for them. So I like that they are now a much more versatile team in the strats that they can bring out.
All right, and I'm still noticing this trend of offlane. Your FBZ, you hyped up Whisper. What do you play?
I play...
Could it maybe be?
Well, if you look at my Dota buff, it's pos 5. But if you look at the extensive history of my Dota buff, it's offlane, baby.
And when you look
the best role.
When you look at the teams as well, they are focusing the offlaners early on, right? You see the Enigmas being banned out, Primal Beast a little bit more versatile, but he gets booted most of the time as well. We'll see if Clock, perhaps Silencer will get out. Perhaps Silencer not, as Enigma is already banned, right?
Yeah, I remember a time where C teams against Boom and DPC were just banning FBZ, Mars, and Pango first two bans because he was just so obscenely good at these heroes, and he would just use everything. Like he would push the heroes to the absolute limit of what they could do. As Pango, he would play to the last sliver of health just to try and get that extra shield crash or swashbuckle, or just that extra little kill off.
Siya na.
Is it pretty predictable bans here? I can see you with all you're cheating. You get paid to be here, T-Governor. Why have you got all the answers in front of you?
Because the answers are cool.
Yeah, wala na lang sa OG.
Do you want to see them too? No, you're cheating.
I wouldn't be able to understand. But is it a pretty standard opener for both these teams?
Yeah, I was just quickly double checking what Boom's openings have been, and it's Tiny, Marcy, Enigma, and then like the Marshall thing. They're kind of like the 4 or 5 or 6 heroes, sorry, that are kind of floating around in the first phase.
But the heroes that are banned against them usually are Undying and Enigma.
Yeah.
So it's kind of well prepared by PSG LGD, obviously, as expected. But Chen in the first phase, instantly picked by PSG LGD. Are they bringing in the tempo? Something they liked from the last game, perhaps, as well?
They've only first picked Chen once so far in TI. They have picked it before a couple of other times, but the first time they picked it, it was against Sonics, which they actually lost. But very much was a in-your-face style of draft. It was Chen, Leshrak, Mars, TA, the quick Roshan with the TA, the aggression, the heal of the Chen.
Ooh, Tusk is fun because that can go mid. We've seen 9 playing it. I think Yopaj has played it in the past as well. It's a hero that initially was really cool to see come out because people weren't familiar with the mid matchups. So we saw like Puck versus Tusk in Arlington, and the Tusk would win the lane because they just didn't know. Yeah, and you don't go this tag team. You can go the other two nukes. You're able to farm and do loads of damage at the same time. So Tusk, very fun hero to come out in the early phase because of that flex.
Especially because Tusk enables the 5 positions to, once they win lane, to rotate. And yeah, perfect hit. They pick the Crystal Maiden. It's like against Chen, this will lock down one lane, but you don't really rotate as quickly as a double support duo potentially. So now CM Tusk, if they win their side lane and now they're running onto mid, Chen, sure, if you bring the correct creeps might be able to help out, but the pace that Boom support Joe can bring is already going to be a little bit quicker than what a Chen +1 can provide.
And the Crystal Maiden is still decent against the Chen. If not on her own, then she provides the mana to everyone else on the team to actually spam out all the nasty creeps that he brings to the table.
Like, it feels so weird. Of course, Boom are second pick, so they will get to react later down the line, but seeing a second pick where they just pick 2 supports, sure, there's a little bit of flexibility with Tusk, but not often do you just see, here's my 2 supports, let's now play some Dota.
It does open you up for... it's a little bit harder later on in the game to counter certain cores, right? Like if you don't have that...
Yopaj is my idol. I'm with you, bro.
Wala niya si Abed, nakapolo
But
barong,
see,
ano yun?
everyone's idol since the Singapore
Apollo
Major,
Barong
right?
Fiabs.
Like that one Windrunner game literally turned everyone into his fan.
We're all a big fan of Yopaj. He is so humble, so talented.
And we're all Snow right?
I mean, don't forget that this is a CTI and this is the final full C team left, right? Like if they get eliminated, then now you're picking for individual players on teams, so very much is
LGD,
might hear some
LGD,
bias in the crowd for this Boom team at least.
Yeah, I'm gonna need to take my bias out of the panel because I'm going.
Nah,
It's a
please,
lot,
no,
man.
there you go.
No. Now when you're PSG LGD, you've picked up your Monkey King very early on.
Yo,
It's
Jollibee.
Uncrowned King. Ame's special, right? Like he enjoys playing the Monkey King. Is there some flex possibility? Of course there is. They could still play it on Zinkyu, but I do believe it
wala
will
na sa
be
mudang
your
LGD,
position 1,
no?
especially now after the being banned out.
I think it's a very good carry to pick on 8 here, just because when you see CM Tusk, like the Tusk specifically in lane, you want to get close, you're going to give Monkey King those Jingu opportunities to build up, and also in the later portions of the game, as soon as you throw down that Wukongs, the CM can't stand still and probably going to die. The Tusk can't snowball in and be aggressive, you're going to be out of position. It allows just PSG to play around something in an area now.
And that's probably one small problem, right, Sheep? When you open up with 2 supports, now you have to think about how do you counter the Monkey, what do you pick against him on the core positions, which puts you in an awkward position.
I guess also, unfortunately, though, Tusk buys Ags, you just blink in, kick Monkey out of his Wukongs. That entire construct now gets broken down, but...
Yeah, but how many times do you see that, right? Like
I mean, we'd see it in this game, maybe.
Yeah, we might,
yeah.
especially if it goes mid and gets farm.
Yeah, not a lot, though, not a lot.
No. But right now, I look at LGD's heroes, and they're really utilizing vision between the creeps that they can send out on the map with Chen to the vision of Monkey when he's on the trees. That's something that potentially they want to look at using more. You can usually see a disruptor paired with these types of heroes because you get the glimpses off from long range. That control of area with kinetic field as well would be good to combo with the Monkey King ult. Other times you see other heroes that keep people in place like Mars, like Puck. These types of heroes are just really nice. And for Boom's side, they don't have hard lockdown yet.
Yeah, I feel like for PSG, they're leaning maybe towards, like, if they can, a second phase Rubik. Just casually stealing any Tusk CM spell will feel really good. The Chen Rubik is a TI combo that goes back so many years, and then it just makes sure
every single TI.
Every TI, you see it at least once or 100 times. And then your offlaner now just needs to be that tankier initiator to enable it. But yeah, Boom are the ones that need to try and evade playing into the overly tanky heroes right now.
Esports turn to ban.
How do you feel about some good old classic Tiny as well here for PSG LGD? You're still left in the pool, can be rotated between mid and the position 4 with the Chen. It's an option for them, right?
For sure.
They have drafted it before as well, obviously, as every single team has. TI 10, 11.
They'll get to see one more hero before they pick, so I guess that will be the indicator, right? Because with a CM Tusk, they'll maybe see an offlane pairing. That offlane, if it's a ranged hero, will indicate Tusk being the 4 potentially, which will give more leverage for PSG in the
Do we all agree that perhaps we're leaning slightly towards PSG LGD when it comes to strength and the flex opening from them, or do you just like the 2 supports?
I proper like seeing CM Tusk. Like it's
FBZ, okay, ni
Boom's
Yopaj.
now trying to keep it a bit more. Yeah.
They're still super flexible
Yeah.
because whilst this Tusk could also go mid or
Exactly, yeah.
forward, this Mars similarly, we've literally watched Yopaj play this against Spirit. FBZ is the god of Mars. Like every single game he would play this hero during DPC. He is so good at it.
Could you not, like, if you're PSG here, this could be like a Kunkka Rubik situation. Now, your Kunkka, it's that damage mitigation against the aggression. CM Tusk can't really gank this hero that effectively, especially when Kunkka gets bow. The Rubik, like we mentioned before, it is a banging Rubik game. Any hero that he looks at, you steal a spell, you're going to just be better than them.
Not so good versus Mars because you can toggle the bulwark, which Rubik
True.
then steals. So you just have to be. But it does add that little bit of stress. Like I have to remember to do this.
Yeah.
But for a Mars veteran should be not.
You've been asking for Kunkka a couple of times today.
I think right now with the skirmishing meta that we have, having a solid mid lane that you don't need to always help out that much, and it kind of gives you some comfort throughout the mid game, it just feels really good. Especially like look at it. Oh,
There
Oh
you go.
my God!
Oh, they're going to
Keith.
Snapfire though. I was
Still good.
Oh, wow.
One out
I
of
was
two.
close.
It's good enough. Good enough.
Don't worry, they'll get the true sight when PSG win TI, and then
Yeah.
you could be like, I want Rubik and Xiao. It's like, no, you didn't wash your face, you're playing Snapfire. It's like, okay, I'm sorry. But yeah, that's cool. This is nice. I like PSG's second phase picks.
I do like the snap in a way that now you get some damage mitigation from the Kunkka, plus you get a lot of damage by snap, right? Like
Yep.
Mortimer's Kisses.
Snap's nice. Snap just, like, she provides not only magic damage, but armor reduction. So this monkey's going to be dealing a lot more damage too. I'm a fan of it, and it makes the offlane stronger as well.
Yeah. Boom, they're a very decent response to the Kunkka, of course. The Kunkka doesn't do anything to Lifestealer now, so PSG, their final pick in the draft is going to need to cover the Lifestealer a little bit. They don't really have BKB piercing stuns, they have no way to prevent this Lifestealer just freely clicking. It's more about, if PSG wants to fight this, they stand still and hug each other. That's their fight.
So what bans are we looking at here? Is it like Beastmaster Slardar, something like that? These BKB piercing heroes that are really good versus Lifestealer?
Yeah, potentially.
Got
So
Razor in the pool potentially.
Razor as well.
Yeah.
They would lack some control. Like if they went for Razor, I would feel like they're in the same position in which Collapse was yesterday with the OD. When it comes to overall draft and how it makes sense.
Yeah, and Boom Esports, ended up beating Spirit to be here. So they, maybe don't want
They
to
ban out
be the
Razor.
champion.
yes.
I'm sorry to talk so much about them, but like they're the team I know the most. For Boom, this is a draft that they have actually run quite a lot. Like in terms of comfort and familiarity, this is something they have played a lot. Jackie's Lifestealer throughout DBC Tour 3, he played this very often, and I talked about the playing with Yopaj type strat. This is what they would do. They would have 4 heroes that run around, making space for Jackie, who sits in the safe lane for as long as he can, just farming that Midas into whatever he needs.
And good that you mentioned it, because I'm so happy that Jackie evolved, because a few years back in T1, he would be always that, not necessarily Lifestealer, illusion-based hero, right? Like he's always just AFK farming until 30-minute mark, then he joins. But
Yeah.
if you're playing a Lifestealer, the fight has to come to you sooner than later. Like you actually have to be a bit more active.
He was like that in DBC Tour 1 as well. He was on Motivate Trust playing Wraith King Medusa every game. So yeah, he's really like bloomed on Boom. I'm very happy for him.
Probably scam a little bit, having a say or two,
Yeah.
a word or two to tell him, yeah.
I'm trying to think for like PSG, their final pick now, I mentioned the BK piercing.
10 seconds
They have the Slardar route, but I think that could be a little bit of an issue into a CM in the lane. It
Yeah.
nice that speed.
Yeah,
the other
bad.
option is like maybe like a Legion.
Okay.
Where you have the Legion, Lifestealer steps up, you instantly jaw him. You don't really have a lot of burst damage, but with the Dispel, the fact that you can take some of the earlier fights just through Boom wanting to run at you, you just defensively reposition, you wait, you bide your time, you see an opportunity, then you jump.
What about instead of that, instead of caring about locking down Lifestealer really hard, you just focus on balling up? Because this Monkey King, he's going to be able to put down like his Wukongs, and they're just going to fight in it as a ball with the boat buff, and running with these Chen auras and creeps and pushing towers together. Or maybe they can just like buff the strengths that they already have in their lineup instead of trying to like patch holes.
Yeah, look at them and what they are thinking. Like even the Morphling ban, like they're going way out. They're thinking perhaps even the Kunkka on the offlane or something like that.
That's true.
Monkey not being position 1.
Yeah, I think in this situation with Boom, they're like, okay, we picked this Lifestealer to be a response, let's just cover ourselves.
They go with the Slug.
And they go with the Slug.
Yeah, it's like, even though I completely understand why you're worried about the CM and the lane that might be problematic for the Slardar, it is Slardar's snap. Like no matter what you bring there, I believe they should be able to beat Lifestealer +1.
And you're going to go into the mid game now where one good fight outside the Roshan pit, you get that Aegis. Boom Esports, their entire lineup, it feels like if we don't get the kill with that big spear, that big initiation, sure they can take cheaper fights, but that's where Boom's final pick needs to be able to take prolonged fights, multiple fights. If he's a big cooldown hero, then
Are we looking at the Spirit then for Yopaj?
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm leaning a little bit.
Japwe Ember down. I mean, I'm just.
Oh,
it is going to be his Mars, and I think. And
So
wait, or is
Tusk
it-
or Mars,
Oh no,
right?
it could be
Tusk or Mars,
Tusk. Yeah.
I think Mars on the offlane, so you can spear the Monkey King away.
It's an off-lane
Actually, Mars safe.
Phoenix.
Off lane Phoenix, my man, FBZ.
All right.
It's new.
Okay,
I mean,
so
minus attack speed on Monkey and
Let's
Side is
go.
always going to be good.
Yeah.
it's not only the minus attack
Phoenix,
speed, you always keep vision on the Monkey King. You can dive over the trees, you can bring him down. It's one of my actually favorite matchups to play on the offlane. Even though it's not really popular right now, it's really strong. Plus, with Yeg, you can take him down from the trees.
But then on the flip side, PSG, they've got Jinkyu on one of his specialty heroes, the Snapfire, the little
Yep.
shredder. You get into position with a Blink Dagger, you kill that egg, you're deleting a core now, not a support. So a lot of emphasis on FBZ. You had last pick in the draft, you picked up a Phoenix. You got to be really clutch with your eggs in this game.
But it wouldn't be Boom Esports unless they did something like this in the
Go
draft.
crazy. Why not?
It's really crazy. I'm leaning quite heavily towards PSG LGD. Snap versus Phoenix, Slardar versus Nyx. It just looks simple to execute.
Yeah, it's also like Kunka's going to go for this AC Hex build, I want to say. I mean, I don't know if he has a different idea, but this, like with a Halberd maybe in there too, it all seems like Kunka's Iron build helps counter Booms a lot. But
You worried?
I believe in the boys. Boom are very good at skirmishing and fighting early. They can easily like outplay LGD just through fighting.
And T, what do you make of this?
No, I think I agree with what Lizard mentioned about this draft. I think there's a lot of pressure on this last pick Phoenix, and I just like the simplicities of PSG. And this Kunkka in the second phase, I think it just kind of unlocked PSG to have a comfortable end to the draft.
Yeah, and but of course, game one, I admire Boom to bring out, something new and kind of, adapt during the draft. I don't know, if this something is planned. We might be able to find out, actually,
played
because
before.
we're going to have a post-draft interview with Boom Esports. It's the coach, Mushi.
Thank you so much, guys. Yes, Mushi, we are here. Thank you for taking time out. Very aggressive draft, very interesting draft. Phoenix on the Monkey King. Pretty exciting stuff here. The crowd is going absolutely ballistic, so please.
Parang nagawa na namin
Were
yan
you
ni Dave.
expecting this kind of draft from LGD? I'm sure
Ako
you
si
did a lot
Monkey
of
King
research
kay
there. The
Timmy.
crowd favorites. Any surprises coming out from their side?
Not really. I think we read them quite well. Yeah.
Nagwukong mag-e-SS din yung
Fantastic.
Phoenix.
Are you going to have the momentum to win this game? That's a very aggressive draft. Are you confident?
Yeah, we got what we want and we have nothing to lose though. Let's do it.
All right, let's do it. Fantastic. That's what you like to hear. Well, we'll go ahead and throw it over to our wonderful casters.
Oh, thank you so much, Slacks. We do get into it. Game number one here between PSG, LGD, and Boom Esports. John, you hear this crowd. It is absolutely electrifying in here. You've seen both these drafts. What are you thinking?
I think we're going to have a good game regardless. We've got a few surprises from Boom. We heard Mushi. It's all according to plan that they're getting out there. So we'll see if they are truly ready for that plan. We've got a lot of fans from Southeast Asia and a lot of fans of Chinese teams here too. So the crowd is going to be loud throughout the entire game, and I'm looking forward to see some of that Southeast Asian and Asian spirit overall.
Absolutely. That's what we love to see. We do get into it, though. Game one. Jonathan, one of these teams has to leave today. It's not a best of one this time around. We've got a best of three series, but so much on the line, and it feels like this is a series that just shouldn't be happening. We're in round two of the lower bracket.
Oh, yeah.
Boom Esports had 1.4% chance of making it through the playoffs from the group stage, and PSG LGD, I mean, you would have just thought they were in the grand finals through the upper bracket.
Yeah, they've had such a smooth run throughout the year. Maybe the performances were a little bit more up and down, not really managing to get those big wins they'd want. But a lot of people had high hopes for them. Same thing with Boom, though. Like every single time we've seen Boom go into an international tournament, it's always kind of fallen flat. But this is this could be their opportunity to prove everyone wrong as well. And again, a lot of hopes hanging on that last Southeast Asian team here.
Absolutely. We'll see how it does go. Of course, we'll start with the mid lane. Nothing to say going to be there against the Idle Yopaj. The Mars versus Kunkka. What are you thinking about this one? Who has the advantage? Who should win out this lane?
I mean, it feels a lot easier for the Kunkka, right? You've always got Tidebringer coming out. The Mars has some play, though. By level 2, level 3, you can threaten, you can get some good spear backs, but it's just a lot more consistent for the Kunkka to kind of work that lane, as long as he kind of dodges out from Yopaj's direction, then he does get in.
What about that bottom lane, John? I mean, you've got Jackie and Scam, of course, against Faith Beyond there on that slide on. It seems like a bit of a tough lane for Jackie as it does go on, right? When you get the levels up on Faith Beyond it, with that added bash, it's always hard for the lifestealer. Do you think maybe the Crystal Maiden can kind of relieve that pressure as the game goes on?
And somewhat, it's really aggressive lane. We heard what the panel was saying about that bot lane. It's just Slardar plus Snapfire, all the stuns in the world. You can just easily eat through the lifestealer if he's not careful, especially in those early levels.
Yeah.
And it's just chain stun after chain stun. The CM can only do so much in this lane. You do have enough mangoes out from Skem to kind of sustain the harassment, but it when it comes to commitment, I don't see LGD really being shoved away just from Skem's presence.
Yeah, and you've got that deadly combination as well, right? With the cookie into the crush.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
just so hard to escape, and I'll see how they do try to abuse it. Of course, we did have a look at that top lane as well as Yopaj. He does end up missing that spear, but top lane, FBZ and Tim's going to be against Arme, and of course, why? Seems like a bit of another rough lane for both sides here, at least for Boom Esports. The Phoenix off lane coming out as well against the Snapfire kind of surprised us, John, but what are you thinking about this top lane?
I mean, it makes sense in some ways. You know, attack speed slow onto the Monkey King does make that lane really annoying. At the same time, Ame can just kind of dance around a lot more with his added attack range.
Right.
So he's not directly in front of the creeps. He has some leeway to walk away when he does see the fire spirits coming out. And with Y around, you just take a really annoying creep. You can always trade fairly well up against Tim's. You can't really fully commit for the combinations here on Boom early on with the tag team, as we do see the shards coming out from Tim's here as well. It does feel like for Boom, this is maybe a level 3, heck, even level 4 or 5, where you can really start to get aggressive. And that might be more than enough room for Ami to just farm up and get what you can.
Yeah, I mean, you saw why. He went for that early divine favor. I was about to say divine rapier. John's still thinking about yesterday's game, but, you know, just wanting to play a passive lane, I think, here for Arme is, of course, why. Just going to do his best to make sure he does remain alive. You do see the headdress as well, of course. Plenty of regen available there and why. Just making sure his Monkey King can stay there forever. We'll see what Tim's NFBZ can try to do about it. Back into the mid lane, nothing to say. Like you mentioned, John, should have a very good time and is having a very good time. 17-3 on the Kunkka. But we've seen this man play the Kunkka many, many times. He's an expert at this hero and obviously showing us a bit of a masterclass here against Yopaj.
Yeah, the same goes for Yopaj, though. He plays a lot of Kunkka, so he should understand the ins and outs of almost every matchup. It is just tougher. Again, Kunkka's just much more consistent with the harassment there.
I have bunting for you.
Bit of a fight up at top lane, just trying to make sure these pulls don't get away. Bot lane, in a bit of activity. Faith Beyond and Xingqiu have been getting rather low on the Snapfire and the Slider, but they will regen up with that salve available on Faith Beyond. Though a nice cancel there from Skem. It's against that Crystal Maiden, as long as you've got the regen. FBZ top lane, he got rather close to dying, but he's going to be just fine. Question is, does he have the regen to remain in the lane now?
He's going to need a little bit more to fly out. Does have the courier coming in with at least the tangos and the Ring of Regen, so a little bit more to play with. That's just a lot of space coming out from Ami. He's had a little bit of a slower lane, not too far behind from anyone else, but it's not like a free lane so far. I mean, the big difference is really just nothing to Say's lane. A lot is coming out from this Kunkka. A faster level 6 lines up with so much aggression that you can get out with these early timings that a lot of your heroes do have. Like, heck, even a good Chen rotation at some point towards mid might ruin that tempo for Yopaj, which he really wants in this lineup. It feels like the Mars is going to be setting it for Boom.
Very close in the boundless strike there for Arme, just barely off and connecting with FBZ. Still bullying out the Phoenix very, very effectively, and FBZ just going to go back to the fountain for a reset. Of course, going back to the mid lane, you saw Skem and Tim's rotate. They secure both water runes, they secure both bounty runes, so just really enabling Yopaj, not allowing nothing to say that the kind of bottle refill he may be looking for, or just the regen in general. Just no runes available whatsoever for PSG LGD, and I suppose that's one good way of just slowing down the mid lane of LGD, is just take all the runes away.
Yeah, it can kind of cause nothing to say to play a bit safer, but he's always got the XTP back for a top-up. He really does feel the pressure, and they're not quite committing on Boom to apply that pressure. Still focusing on the side lanes. You see Tim's here just being chased away with creep army of Y. He's got the most annoying creeps, Chain Lightning creep and the Purge creep up. So you really can't do much about that if you're the Tusk right now.
We're trying to go on to the task. Oh, great boundless strike out from Arme from a mile away, and Y able to secure first blood here for PSG LGD. That was right on the edge there with Arme. My goodness.
And it's just when you have access to that small camp and you get lucky with some of these creeps, it just gets really hard. There's just not much the Tusk can do. And again, Ame's just getting a lot of space out. 23-13 in the CS, slightly above Jackie. But the Monkey King can kind of just get active a little bit faster, it does feel like.
He's going to have a rotation up towards the north, maybe just scouting out that dire triangle. Of course, power runes are coming up very, very soon. We'll see if Boom want to try and secure both sides as well here. This game actually just going to go for the block on the Ancient. Xingqiu may not have caught him doing that. I believe he was within the fog at the time. Well, nothing to say mid lane. He's going to get sharded up here. And they are just trying to contest power runes right now, as you will see Y and Xingqiu also join the fray. it's going to be Skem down at the bot side of the rune that does actually pick up the double damage. So he just gets away with it, just completely denying it off from nothing to say. And just a great way of slowing down the Kunkka, not allowing any rotations. So as I say that, they may just run mid. Arena is down defensively. Can they take him down? It's a lot of damage flying out, and Xingqiu, he'll still land the cookie through the arena. Just on the outer edge, they just hold him down, but now nothing to say. He could be in danger. Tims and Skem getting to work. The double damage, actually doing a hell of a lot of work, but Xingqiu, he shows up again. They find another. Is Tims? Can he run now? Xingqiu really chasing far. Very nice cookie and a triple kill out for Xingqiu.
It's that aggression we talk about, having such a great
Ano,
foundation
masisira
out
upo
from
ang kay
such a
GQ.
strong
Kuyakoy
start
ng
with
kuyakoy
Zen.
eh.
With how good your supports are at going towards mid, it's just really easy to bully out. Boom started out with a really good spear opportunity, but not really able to commit with Tims around. He's under-leveled on a Tusk, still level 2, about to hit 3. There's not much he can really do to help Yopaj find these kills.
Absolutely not. It's a very slow start here for Boom, but a great start for PSG OGD. 3k ahead. Arme, I mean, you kind of talked about this already. He's been just free farming this whole time. 7 minutes in, he's not too far in, but you look at the net worth just snowballing out of control already. You could say the same about every core on the side of PSG OGD, all the way at the top of the 3 cores from the dire end of things, and well, you couldn't have asked for a better start.
Yeah, it's just perfection. 0-4, 3k lead at 7.5 minutes in. You're going to hit all your spikes really fast. Level 6 coming out for Faith Beyond, going to make it a lot easier to start finding those kills. Already has the Morbid Mask ready as well. And the timings for Boom, it's so level dependent. You're waiting for the egg to kind of tie in with the arena. You want more levels up on your Tusk for a little bit more damage and a little bit more utility out from the snowball and the shards. And you kind of want Jackie to just farm. They need to kind of get their supports online and really get FBZ online with Phoenix, because that's their big combo. The arena egg, it's got to come into play at some point.
It certainly does, and you're always going to have to be worried about Xingqiu in the end of the day, right? With that little shredder. She hit that level 1 mark of the egg. LGD, they'll slow the game down a little bit. No need to rush this one, though. As I say that, we do have a rotation into the mid lane. Yopaj, a little bit of danger here as Xingqiu once again with a fantastic rotation. Backing up, nothing to say, but do they have the damage this time around? Yopaj gonna try to run, but they've got it. The tiebreaker was there, and now the cookie back out from Xingqiu. They won't care for the Tusk kill. No need to overextend for that. They've got the big one already.
Yeah, they're just tempoing themselves so well on LGD. They saw that movement down from the sports down bot. They knew they had enough space to go for Yopaj. They scouted out with a Chen creep at bot lane. And Yopaj just can't do much. Like, the moment he gets X stuff, you do have enough magical damage on LGD. And Boom are just trying to get something on the sides. They're committing so much time to try to find those pickoffs, but LGD just punish.
Absolutely. Very, very tough start. I mean, you've just got to try and slow the pace down now if you are Boom. In the meantime, more stacks being made, but no, the sentry is still there. So they have not managed to deward that sentry that was there by Skem. In fact, he's got them both of them. Really trying to slow down the pacing of nothing to say. They've done absolutely everything to slow this man down, but he's still top the net worth board. In fact, he's going to find Jackie on the lifestealer. X is there, but Rage will be there in time to juke out the cookie. Still Faith Beyond is going to show up. They do have the X back. Jackie, he's in huge trouble, and Xingqiu, he's going to find a 4th kill. This Snapfire, he's just doing too much work.
He's all over the map, and Jackie popping that Rage a bit early. The moment he saw the cookie come out, while the X was on, he had to Rage, and he couldn't outlast that X mark, so he just gets punished. There was a smoke rotation out from Boom, trying to head up top, but they're still not finding anything for their trouble. They dragged Yopaj around for that. It's LGD really working this map out really well, just using the vision they have from the Chen creeps.
Yopaj.
And Ame.
Yeah, he's got an arcane room, but in comes nothing to say along with Ame. Arena is down, but here come the kisses. Tims, he'll buy them a bit of time, allow them to get away from those kisses, but it's still a lot of damage. Now the egg will be dropped down. Ame, he might be in trouble, but no Tims. He's the one in danger as he does go down to Y. PSG ODD, they'll just keep running. They might just want to reset and just back out of this team fight, as it seems like Boom have brought Jackie over, but it's going to be a bit of wasted time for the lifestealer. Nothing going to come out for Boom. LGD still 0-7 in their favor. Boom to pick up 1 kill.
I mean, you see how confident they are. They just drag in Ame. They start to use that Monkey King, get a little bit more vision out, get some good jumps in to follow up, and Boom expend the arena and the egg. The combination was there, but they didn't lock anyone in. LGD, they're just sidestepping everything.
They are not even giving Boom any leeway. Like, not a crack has been opened yet. Still 0 kills on the board. It's Faith Beyond. He'll take care of the bot T1 tower. Has the Mask of Madness up. Gonna make very, very quick work of it. This is what I was kind of mentioning earlier, John. Like, against the Lifestealer, you're gonna have such a good time perma-bashing Jackie up if he does get caught out with the initial stun, and we'll see if they can capitalize on it later on. For now, I mean, with the 6k net worth lead, they can basically do whatever the hell they want, LGD.
Yeah, they've got free reign of the map. They've got some pretty good wards by the ramp sides on the river, so they're always going to be able to check if Boom is trying to sneak around without the smoke. Boom, for their part, just constrained on their side of the map. They're not able to cross that river. They're not able to really scout out, use that deep ward they have on the top jungle to stop any of this farm game. Like, it's just a very static game right now for Boom and LGD. And they could play it static now as well. They're going back to farming with Ame, just getting that build up into the Desolator coming out here for the Monkey King. They've even got the early mech up and running for Y, so much more sustainable of these fights. Considering how durable you are with Chen, with Kunkka and the boat buff, even if Boom somehow managed to get that initiation, it doesn't feel like they have enough damage to eat through that.
Absolutely not. And we're talking about damage, LGD, they've got all the damage. Like, you pointed out the Deso on Arme coming out with the Corrosive Haze on top of that. Armlet's just going to do nothing with all that bonus armor you get there on Jackie, and just such a painful experience to have to try and deal with as LGD. They are starting to move in, but Boom are waiting. In there goes Jackie. They find Y. They do have the help around, though. Nothing to say. Trying to save the day of the Chen, but the Y is still going to drop. That's one. Just a +5 kill hit for Boom, but it is the first kill of the game for them to pick up, and that's a start.
Yeah, it's a start. And not the biggest, but little cheeky play.
Oh, Faith Beyond almost finds Tims, but the snowball is going to buy a little bit of time as Tims is still going to drop, and now Yopaj, he's been caught out. Boundless is there as well. They take him down. No chance survival, just perma-stuns out from LGD. Into the tier 1 mid tower they go.
And it doesn't take too long to push with just how much damage is coming out. Not even the full Deso out from Ame yet. Just with the numbers they have, with a little Shredder to provide some minus armor, it just melts. And Boom, again, they just keep coming in one by one. They find that one kill in the Chen, and then they just don't manage to get anything else. They don't manage to play with their combinations, and LGD just recognize that. When they're split up, when the egg's not a threat, they've got a huge open.
Here we go.
Oh, hule.
Why? Getting caught out, but the cookie is going to be there. Y will be just fine. Snowball, they're going to follow up. They really want something for their trouble. The Hand of God was there. Y still running. Tornado away. It's just not going to be enough. They even commit the arena for this. I mean, it's heavy commitment from Boom, but considering the state of the game right now, they need everything they can get.
Yeah, I mean, it's just the same kill back to back. It's just not swinging that much net worth. You have to commit so many heroes in. It's a lot of space for LGD. They're just able to go elsewhere, able to get that build-up they want on Ame, on Nothing to Say, and on Fate Beyond. And there's just no stopping those cores. Me and Boom are lagging behind by a pretty big margin 14 minutes in, 8k net worth deficit. And the timings for LGD are just ramping up. You know, more damage coming out from Kunkka, BKBs will come out soon. On top of that, Deso timing coming out from Ame. And you have very little to deal with any of that spell immunity here.
Yeah, you certainly don't have much. Ame just continuing with that farm. Third in net worth right now. Only third to both his two cores on LGD. Nothing to say, still at the top somehow, considering how much they tried to shut the man down. And was Faith Beyond right behind him. Almost has his BKB up now, and that's going to be very problematic. Don't worry about anything here from Boom once you have that up, apart from Jackie, but he's just nowhere near the stage where he's ready to fight. Again, they can just happily slow the game down, understanding their own strategy, their own draft, and just wait till perhaps the mid game to get going once again. Boom, all they can do, I mean, this is the draft where they want to try and move in and start fighting early on, but they just can't make it happen right now. They've got to sit back and relax.
They need to wait for their own BKBs, maybe a blink coming out from Yopaj down the line to kind of help them set up with a better arena, catch some better heroes out, ensure the spear lands on target, and have that follow through from the egg. Because you are playing against a snap. As long as the snap fires outside arena, you're pretty okay in protecting that egg. So your combinations can still kick off. It's just, it's a lot harder than what LGD have. And all they need to do is throw out an X, get a blink up on your Slardar down the line, maybe after the BKB, and you just have low commitment initiation. It's not going to cost you much from LGD to just keep that aggression, whereas Boom, they can't risk it. They just have to keep playing the slower game, take what space they can, and LGD are just thriving in that environment.
Well, they've got a scan out on Q. Scam, he's really the only one around right now. As PSG LGD, they'll be the ones to move in and try to find the Maiden. underneath vision, but does manage to back out of range. Upaj gonna stick around. Zincu and Arme very confident with their own positioning, understanding it's going to be quite hard for Boom to actually pick them off. Instead, Boom will just back their way out, understanding again they're not ready for a big team fight right now. Not even these smaller pickoffs. Jackie now, double damage is going to be picked up, but he does try to rage away from it. Rather the X, that is. There's nothing to say. Not going to be able to stop him this time. So important for Jackie to just keep that farm going. For now, he'll hang around that Radiant Triangle, just stay within the safety of the Radiant jungle.
They don't have the best vision right now from Boom to kind of protect themselves. Only one defensive ward down, bot, very far away from Jackie. They do go for a smoke play here on Boom's end, though. Might find something juicy, although Y's there to break.
Yeah, both supports are around. Good positioning from Y, but they are going to chase down Zincu because he's the one with the streak up right now. So Zincu, he'll get stunned up. Yopaj with a very nice spear. Zincu really has no way out of this, so they do secure a nice pickup. Tims will be the one to take it.
Yeah, that's a much bigger kill than Chen. With that streak coming off, Tim's going to get a nice injection of gold to work towards potentially down the line his Blink, which is going to be key to save out. However, LGD, I mean, they're still farming a lot better. You've got the BKB up on Fate Beyond, so the Slaughter really has nothing to worry about. They're already making their way into Roshan with that Desolator up and running on Ame. And this is them taking it without the Corrosive Haze. Once Fate Beyond's there, this is not going to take too long. And again, Boom, they don't have the best wards here to spot that.
It's going to be a very, very fast process. Boom, they are making their way over, maybe trying to force a fight as the shards are out, and they really don't want to let this one go down. But how do you initiate a team fight here? Wukong's being committed by Arme. There's just no chance in hell, so LGD, they'll take the first Roshan of the game. Defend that mid-tier 1 tower, and it might be just time to group up and smoke up.
They've got all the tools they need here on LGD. Huge spikes out. Again, with that fresh BKB on Fate Beyond, with a fresh BKB on Nothing to Say. And these team fights for Boom, it's not going to feel great. They have nothing to pierce through unless they somehow get a full channel on that egg, but they're not going to be able to protect as much with the arena with the BKBs up.
We are going to have a quick pause. There is a headset issue right now. Of course, we did see FBZ. He's got the Spirit Vessel up now, so they might be able to start moving. Very, very quick pause, in fact. Very unusual, as we are going to get the unpause underway. LGD. Finally one here for their trouble. Doesn't seem like it. The Yopaj is within vision, and Arme is going to try and slow him down. The Mars, how do you get out of this one? Arme, boundless, no, it's off the mark. A very nice sidestep from Yopaj, and he's out. Has his own BKB up now as well.
Yeah, that would have been massive if they managed to kill him off. He barely had the gold to buy out the recipe. So that would have stalled the BKB just a little bit longer, give them an opportunity for a bigger fight.
Scam is going to get caught. Nothing to Say should have no problems taking down the +5 CM and does not. Meanwhile, Jackie, he's a much bigger target, but a nice rage away, avoiding the boundless strike for now as Tims is going to TP out of there with the invest. He's just going to make it. That's a 5-star review right there for Tims. Perfect timing.
Oh yeah, perfect escape vehicle coming out there right in the nick of time for Jackie to just infest away. They are dodging out from these bigger kills for LGD to find, but you're still not gaining too much ground. You're at least getting that build-up you want onto Jackie here. I mean, he's working onto his own death, so they might run into each other again.
They may. Nothing to Say. He's a big target, but the spear is not going to land. Nothing to Say. Going to try and go onto Jackie with the X-Back, but it's not going to work out either. Shards won't be on the mark. LGD just trying to control that Radiant jungle for now, at least the triangle. Just such a valuable position for them to be in. Just bully out the side of Boom Esports and don't allow Jackie that safer farm. Right into the top tier 1 tower they go. This will really open up the map now, and this is when LGD starts really choking you out of the map and not allowing you to farm in any safe position. Very strong play here from LGD, and you kind of wonder what Boom does about it.
They're just trying to retake control down bot. You do have really good forward vision here from LGD with their observer board, so they're going to be able to see who's farming in the bot jungle, and they're really still safe. Age is still up for 2 minutes 40. They just melt these objectives with the Chen army and all the minus armor they have with a low shredder and the Desolator up and running. It doesn't take long to just wipe this map out from Boom.
Yeah, absolutely not. LGD, they'll even find the top tier 2 tower, no problem. Calm play from LGD. And towards the bot lane, Arme. Take care of the defense of the tier 1. Again, Boom Esports currently just playing the avoiding game, not wanting to deal with LGD whatsoever, as they are still 11k behind. just going to stick as a group right now, but the problem is you are still kind of being choked out. You're not getting any farm, and you're letting Ame get all the farm in the world right now. That's going to be a huge problem.
It's going to be a massive issue. And one thing that Boom does have to play with now is a fresh blink up on Tim. So they've got some saving plays with a snowball. They can try to be a little bit more aggressive. I think you'd ideally just want Yopaj's blink at this point. Again, have that arena at the ready. Try to get some control out. Try to kill some of these key heroes. LGD just don't provide any openings. They're sticking loosely together in the same side of the map. Again, they've got better control, really good wards to watch that top lane and just control the jungle area. And once they commit to a push, Boom just don't even bother trying to defend, so they might be able to get away with maybe all the tier 2s very soon.
It does seem that way. The bottom tier 2 tower just going to go down for absolutely nothing. Boom Esports just no interest in trying to defend. They will let it go down. LGD acting like they might go high ground here. I'm not quite sure about that one, but with the Deso up on Ame, still a minute and 15 to go on the Aegis, he might try for this. And he will. It's not going to be a long process. Not with Faith Beyond and Ame just hitting away at that tier 3 tower. FBZ and Tims, they'll hang around the tree line. In goes Tims with the Walrus Punch. Ame, he'll get force-staffed away and he'll be just fine. They don't want to take the fight anyway. With the Aegis up, they'd rather force LGD back. It's a substantial amount of damage being dealt by LGD. I think Boom will just be satisfied with the fact that their base is still intact for now.
That's cost them at least one fortify and a lot of TPs out. Jackie is just hanging around trying to farm top. They will try to smoke off the back of that though. Might be able to snipe someone out while Nothing to Say did head up top, but LGD very synchronized retreat coming out. Maybe Boom just not going to be able to really maximize the smoke. They need the kills. They've got to find a pick off somehow.
Where do they go? Very hard position for Boom. They've got to try and find a way to get towards that Roshan pit, but it's just not that easy crossing that mid lane. There's Nothing to Say. He is going to show himself on that Kunkka. He has the X-Pack, so he knows he's safe. No way to lock him down. Esports again, fighting their time. Giving more time over to Jackie, who's not too far behind. He's about 2.3k behind Ame right now, but considering the state of the map, it's just so hard to find that farm. It's not really only Ame you have to worry about, because again, Faith Beyond, he's pretty much transitioned to his own style of carry now, going into the Blink Dagger. Doesn't really need it, but just with that massive initiation now on the Slaughter, it's just, for Jackie, it's just so hard to get away.
Yeah, it's an extremely difficult time for him, and you're so armored up now on the Kunkka. Again, with all the saves you also have on LGD, you don't really have the highest burst damage on Boom. Jackie's going to need to twack away at one fella for a very long time, and it just doesn't feel like he'll be able to sustain that. LGD going out for the smoke play now. Aegis is gone, so they don't have the safety of that, but it doesn't feel like they even need it.
Certainly does not. Try to be aggressive here. Boom, very patiently waiting the tree line. They seem to have an idea. LGD are looking for a fight.
Radiant are scanning.
Control the triangle for now, LGD. Scan is there from Boom. Know exactly where LGD are at the moment. Get 14k deficit. They don't want the fight right now, and it does seem like they're going to successfully be able to get away from LGD. Thing is, if you are LGD, you might just set up for the mid-tier 2 tower now. It's the only outer tower left standing. Seems like Y is just going to get started. Is he doing a decent enough job with the Fire Spirits, just kind of pushing them back? Because he does see Nothing to Say. He does not really want to deal with the Kunkka right now. LGD. Even find a double damage rune now for Nothing to Say. This could be prime opportunity for them to try and force another fight. Thing is, they've got to find Boom East.
Yeah, I don't mind LGD actually just playing this safe. They've got control of the triangle. They've got the superior precision to push into that tier 2, whereas Boom have to play on the low ground on the defense. Doesn't feel great. You've got the blink up on Yopaj, so at the least you've got a way to initiate, but again, it's so difficult to find the right target here to combine with FBZ's egg. They will go for a smoke play though.
Be very awkward timing though with that rune available. Boom. They're going to try for this. They've got a bit of vision in that mid lane, but they don't know where LGD are right now. Maybe they've got a brief idea, but the smoke is there. Faith Beyond. He's going to have his smoke broken. Yopaj not reacting quick enough to catch him out. So now both teams understand exactly where each other are. Looks like they are going to try and bait them forward, but Boom, they're being very, very careful with their own position. They understand they've kind of missed their opportunity to surprise LGD. They are just going to back their way out once again. You really do need that perfect initiation in this kind of game.
And it's just so difficult to find it. Like, you have so many things to worry about. Can you really try to kill off Kunkka in the first burst salvo? Can you try to take care of the Monkey King? Maybe you have to take care of Fate Beyond, just in case Jackie gets focused on down the line. The threat of the snap bar is always there for Sim-Q. He is inside the arena, and the eggs in the right are the same spot as he is. So it's very conditional for Boom. And for LGD, it's just such a clean game. 3-10, 15k lead, 25.5 minutes in. They've choked out Boom to pretty much just stay at the bot jungle area for their own farm in Jackie.
He's going to get jumped on here down at bot lane. Does have the rage available, so we'll try to run as now Faith Beyond is going to make his way over, but a nice Infest blink away. So they should be just fine, though. Faith is still trying. Meanwhile, they have ended up getting Skim out of there as well, so he's fine. So it seems like they are not going to be able to catch up once again. Boom doing a fantastic job of avoiding the side of LGD. LGD just kind of running across the map, trying desperately to find a pickoff, but finding absolutely nothing. It's really turning to a game of hide and seek this game one.
Yeah, they're just poking and prodding, waiting for those items up on Boom and LGD. Again, they would want to get some kills. They need a kill to kind of secure the tier 2 here. Boom might get aggressive.
Do see the rune though, nothing to say. Ready, but they're still gonna jump in. Walrus Punch is there, Arena down, but the spear was not there in time. The BKB was out, nothing to say now. Gonna turn with the boat of the egg. It's still going. Can it last? It cannot. FBZ is down. Tims will try to TP away and barely makes it out, but they've left Yopaj all by himself, and he is gonna drop. 2 down for the side of Boom, and LGD very comfortably taking that team fight. It didn't seem like they were worried whatsoever.
And again, you just see how difficult it is to actually initiate. Tims manages to blink and instantly get the Walrus Punch off, but one small delay with the spear and BKB's turn on, Arena does nothing, and off the back of those kills into the Roche once more. LGD go. They've got the security now for a tier 2 into the high ground.
You see just the quick BKB up, nothing to say, just unable to get the spear off in time, and that's really just what turns it, right? Like, you get the boat off, you're just so much stronger, and of course FBZ with the egg as well, just a bit out of position, I would argue. Way too far forward, making it way too easy for LGD to just take him out, and now they're onto the tier 3 tower. It's a clinic so far from LGD.
Radiant structures are fortified.
The tier 3, not going to last too long with all this minus armor available from Arme.
Radiant's middle tower.
Very confident, just down the front lines is the Monkey King as the BKB has been forced out once again. Cookie will not land. They do find a tier 3 though, and LGD, they might not continue. If BKB's down for Arme, they don't want to risk it. Even with the Aegis up, you may as well wait till the BKB's back up and available and just go high ground again. In the meantime though, we do have a 5-man smoke up.
See if Boom can kind of try to find a little bit more.
Jump in, Arena is there. They'll find Sim-Q on that Snapfire. It's not the biggest kill, but it is something.
Yeah, it's you take what you can get now when you're this far behind. 19k lead still standing for LGD. Much needed kill coming out for Yopaj to find. And you know, you're not under too much pressure. You're gonna have egg off cooldown in a few seconds. Arena not the longest in the world, so you can kind of just take your time here as LGD. I mean, they've got a lot of security on hand, right? Like Aegis still up and running for 3.5 minutes. Scotty being built up by Ame, so durable on this Monkey King, and just taking away the healing that Jackie will want to do when he's right-clicking away. It's not getting any easier for the Lifestealer. This is just not a game where it feels like Jackie can just simply farm and carry the team. Everyone's gonna have to work as a unit here up against LGD, and they're just looking way more coordinated. Their movement's just been perfect.
But they are down at bot lane. Faith Beyond, gonna see Tims, but the blink away is gonna be there. Still Faith. We'll get a corrosive haze off, but that's about it. Now LGD might be in a position now where they just push high ground again. The BKB is back up on Arme. Very, very good timing here from LG, just waiting that item out, and in they go. For the bottom tier 3 tower, Boom, they will try to set up for this team fight. It's just so rough to see how you get the initiation off before the BKBs, but there it is. They've got the Conquer, nothing to say. He's a big target, but he's gonna get out. He's got the BKB in time as Jackie's the one to drop, and now Yopaj is gone. Oh, it was such a great start, but they find nothing.
Oh, they call it.
They call it. Egg is down, they've had enough. Very rough game one here for Boom, and well, for LGD, it was just an absolute clinic.
Yeah, they just played perfectly, start to finish, from the laning, all the choices they made. They read the draft really well. We heard how confident Boom was, right? Like Muji was, this is within expectations. We've drafted to what we know we can handle up against LGD, and LGD shows us their prep work was probably a bit better.
Yeah.
They just come out on top. We saw that combination at the end, that blink in from Tim's, the instant stuns onto one, but you left the Chen alone. The healing was there, and they had a raid pack up and running towards the end.
Absolutely. This is more like the LGD we're used to seeing. I think we're going to have to give Boom a call. That we're going to need to shave some more heads here, Jonathan, because things are looking rather tough here for game one. We'll see how they change it up for game number 2, though, very, very soon as Boom. I'm sure they'll go for a reset, try to talk about what happened. What do you think actually went wrong here for Boom? Like, was it a drafting issue? I mean, you talked about the coordination already, but was there something else you'd like to see them change up in game 2 to maybe force us to a game 3?
Maybe it did go back a little bit to the draft. Like, we didn't see as much activity out from Skem and Tim's. That's where it feels like it really fell flat. Like, towards the mid, you saw how much Sin-Q did with Y.
Yeah. Sin-Q was an absolute monster. Look, we are going to head off back to the panel and see what they had to think about this game number 1.
my panel are laughing about, I think, the Observer got a crimson. Congratulations, maybe Scriff, maybe Web has, and I know there's other observers there. Patrick, yes. So yeah, first crimson we've seen. But thank you, MLP Dota and John X Fire. Welcome back to the panel. And this looks like, the team PSG LGD. They've been runner-up twice at TI, and people, we said like, oh, a little bit shaky. But that wasn't a shaky game. That was just dominant. And, a lot of teams have, come out the laning phase and, held it quite nicely, but they held it tight, right, Sheep?
Yeah, the way that they accelerated their lead was fantastic. They had these really nice, at first, defensive wards down, where they just had them on the cliff so they could farm and just keep farming safely while they were crushing their lanes. Like, coming out with these crush lanes is so good. And then on top of that, they get this Roche because Boom have to use like 3 to 4 heroes just to kill one single hero on bot, and they take that advantage to go to Roche, get that, and then use the Roche and Aegis to go deeper into the side of Boom's map, and then place like these deep lane wards down, like mid and top, and that way they're able to just keep hunting them.
And Lizard, you pretty much, from the draft, you said I would much rather be, PSG LGD here.
Yeah, like if you look at the 2 drafts, one last pick made sense, the other didn't at all, in my opinion. Like, on one side you have the Slardar, he's dominating the Lifestealer. It's a good pick, like, I want to be that guy, but Phoenix last pick, I don't get it. Like, it's good with Yopaj as Mars. It gives you a lot. It gives you that teamfight potential, right? But on the offlane, the hero isn't nearly as good as he used to be. Plus, you're playing into a Snapfire. Like, that Snapfire is always going to be a problem. Like, literally at every single point in the game, your egg can just be destroyed by one single hero.
Yeah, and we saw some highlights here. And FBZ, unfortunately, 0-2-2 and, caught slightly out of position. But when you get, in one of his last eggs, but of course, when you get the, BKBs as well, on your cores, PSG LGD, Mars Arena, you can still get to the egg, even though, it could have been maybe a little bit further back. So I wouldn't say, a rocky start for Boom Esports, but what I did like what they did, and this is going to sound a little bit rude, they GG'd early to keep some, I hope, kind of energy. Because a lot of teams, fight to the death, but it's game 1, it's like, look, this is not working out, we've had that opportunity. I wouldn't say GG early, sorry, but, some teams are like, okay, let's try and swing it around, let's use our buybacks. They were like, okay, we failed on the Conquer, we're done. Let's just, reset and go into game 2. But I think they've, still got something to show here on the main stage.
Some games are obvious, right, T? Like, you just see from minute 15 that it's unsalvageable.
Yeah, pretty much. It's one of those games for PSG where their lanes went so well that they didn't really need to think about anything. Just perform well and your draft will play itself pretty much for PSG.
What would you like Boom to do coming into game 2? Obviously, you can say not last pick the Phoenix, but that's we're not going to harp on that. But
we're not going to harp on that, but sometimes your draft is really difficult, right?
Yeah. No, I would say it's just about having the needed layers to play out a game. Because, for example, PSG, they had the tankiness of the Kunkka, but supported by the hills of the Chen. They had the aggression of the Slardar, the Monkey King. Like, everything just complements each other. Where Boom, it was we have to fight for position. If we throw our spells, we own an area. But then PSG, they had all these heroes that are very good at also playing those areas and then pushing you away. So they can shove you away from the egg and stuff. So I think for Boom, this was one of their clunkier drafts that they've done, and not to their true form of nature, at least at TI.
Nangyari,
Maybe
nagtimpla
in
na ako
other
ng
DPC
kape, ah.
games they've tried doing this other stuff before.
I'm sorry, Scriff or Vepus or PTP, they're really happy with their Crimson right now.
Is he going to open it?
We can see him trying to. He's hovering above the Crimson. With
We'll
with
have
the
all
open.
Crimson updates in a moment. But actually, let's check back in with Singapore with the commentators and Casey and Slacks.
Hello, hello. Hello, 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 my friends. Yes, that is right. We are here in Singapore. In fact, for the Southeast Asian TI. In fact, with the greatest Southeast Asian casters in the last game of the last team in Southeast Asia. Guys, I just want to come and talk to you. Honestly, these guys, MLP, John X Fire, the best in the world at Casting C in this game, it just felt ironic to me. So I just wanted to thank you and introduce you. Casey, please. Do
Casey,
my job for
back
me.
to you. No, not back to you. Yeah, no, how exciting is it to be together in real life? Because he was telling me that you only met in person, like, recently after casting together for how many years?
5 years it was.
What?
Yeah, it was 5 years. It was a long-term relationship, a travel. What do you call it? A long-distance relationship.
That's right.
Yeah, it was a rough road, but we did make it together in Stockholm. Yeah.
And this is your very first TI. It's your very first time being able to be on the big stage in your region. Like, talk us through the feelings there.
It's amazing. I mean, the crowd, the fans have been amazing. Everyone's been coming up and talking to us and taking photos and complimenting us and everything. And the crowd has been electrifying as well. All the SEA teams have been going home, obviously. It's not the greatest feeling in the world, but it's still a great TI, and we're very happy to be here.
Were you guys nervous at all?
Nervous? No, but I kept expectations low. When we got the message, I couldn't believe it. Like, I was washing my dishes at like 2 a.m. and they just sat down on the floor. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know if it was real. So it's different. It's amazing.
Did you ever go back and wash the dishes?
Yeah, I did finish. I cleaned up.
Yes, absolutely. So boom, last game won. I know you guys have a lot of pride. It's okay. This is my one moment. You guys have been doing a great job casting and not being biased as F, as I would have been. But now, in this moment, in a non-professional setting with an interview with Casey,
hey.
Can you say any words here for the last ride of the boys in the region?
I think the crowd got it right. Boom, tarat, tarat. That's all they need. Just keep chanting that and they're going to get good.
This is definitely going to be a game number 3. I mean, there's no doubt about it. We're going to game 3.
Wala yung kumain.
LGD, they haven't washed their faces. We all know what happens after they don't do that, and we're going to a game 3.
All right, guys. What about you, audience? I know you guys can hear me. Game 3? Are we going there? Is Boom coming back? Hello?
I saw one thumbs up.
Okay, thank you so much. One guy, very excited. Fantastic. All right, guys. Well, put your bias away now. Put it back. Become professional.
Yeah, the bias that you pulled out of them and forced them.
It was very forced.
Okay.
But anyway, we'll throw back to the panel for this wonderful, wonderful game 2.
Very nice.
Very nice.
Thank you very much, Casey and Slacks. But don't worry, you got some more thumbs up here. You got a double from Sheets and MLP, Dota, and John X Fire. It's a pleasure to have you here, and we've been enjoying all the commentary over from the studio here in Norway. So yes, Boom Esports, last SEA team. That's not something that we want to drive home, because it's really just about your opponent now. You don't always have to carry the weight of your whole region, but do they have it in them to take on PSG LGD? Because PSG LGD, out of the group stages, 4-4-1, Boom 1-3-5. PSG LGD lost a secret to be here. Of course, Boom Esports did beat Team Spirit, but with that interview, it was a little bit heartbreaking with Mira, and in terms of the kind of state they felt their team was in, or at least their confidence. It does feel that PSG LGD have a bigger ramp up. They had more of a run potentially through this tournament.
It really did. It's hard to judge from game 1 because it was a stomp. Like, you can't compare their strengths when they're at full strength because they're not being able to give their all. But I do think one of the biggest issues they had was picking this lifestealer the way they did. It allowed it to get countered. They left FBZ's hero for last. I think they shouldn't have. Right? If they focus on just giving Jackie a really good game and let FBZ have that hero that might be a little bit worse, I think that's better.
Yeah, so opening up Jackie the carry just a little bit more. And what kind of heroes do you like on Jackie if you can say.
I mean, I like a lot of heroes on Jackie. It's more like I just want a hero that's good for the game, because if you look at those 2 games, they only picked Monkey King, but at least it had a purpose. The way that Monkey King could get involved early was much more effective than a Lifestealer, because you have that Boundless Strike, the Vision, the Wukong's Command. Lifestealer doesn't give much.
Plus, it's flexible, right? Like Lifestealer, maybe there was a patch or 2 where he was 4-5, maybe offlane, going into that Ancient Creep, but that's long time ago. Like Jackie, I think it's fine on the Lifestealer or any other carry. He's improved a lot as a position 1 player. However, I have to harp back. Phoenix just didn't allow them to play the game.
The thing as well with Lifestealer, it's one of those heroes that I think it's got a decent win rate so far at this TI, but when teams pick it, seeing like a Mars and seeing the stuff, it's like, okay, this is going to feel good, but then suddenly the enemy's draft changes a little bit, or there's a little bit of shift in momentum. The Lifestealer is a hero that it needs time to kind of build up into the game. It can't be kind of under pressure early on, and if you're under pressure early on, you're just basically a creep running around. You might infest and save someone and give them some heals, but it's a very like Morphling-esque hero that it needs some time.
And if we could call the Slardar...
I think the guys are ready to come out to game 2. There are it was this.
Yan na naman. Game 2 na guys, game 2.
They are back.
Kailangan tanggapin kung ano magiging resulta.
Once again, Lizard. Arme, nothing to say. Fabian, Jinkyu, and White really dominating on game 1. And yeah, the crowd cheering up Boomy Sports there. Unfortunately, not really getting to play the Dota that they wanted to play in game 1. Jackie, Yopad, FBZ, Tims, and Skem. So hopefully they've reset. I mean, thank you. There's an extra thumbs up in the studio here. That one was for me, but we can pass it over to Boomy Sports. But there's hopefully the reset's good. But like also drafting against Zhao 8.
It's not easy. Like
right? I mean, we all saw the miniseries of Zhao 8 drafting. True Sight.
Yeah. That's one.
That took me a little bit. Yeah. It took me. Oh wow. But yeah, they were just so good at predicting each other. And Boom have that kind of experience in the draft.
For sure. I mean, they have Mushi.
And Ohio. He came back.
And Ohio as an analyst. Yeah.
They have so much experience in regards to their draft. It's also, I think, even if you have the experience, sometimes when you get to a TI, your players, they have like a certain hero pool that you utilize, so you might not have the depth that other teams have, and I think that's where maybe PSG often has advantage at these international tournaments.
But that can also be a good thing, right? Like, look at Entity. Their hero pools aren't that wide, but they still make these heroes and adapt to their playstyle, and it works. I believe it's the same for Boom. They have a lot of young blood.
OG Gaming Gladiator
his heroes, like he can contribute. He can contribute more than just this arena that's a setup for an offlane Phoenix. Like he can dominate the games. And mid-Mars, I can see you, Sheepo. I can see you. You want to say something? I know you want to say something. It is good. But in certain matchups, with a certain other offlaner that you have that can transition into a true core. Phoenix with the Yules and the Vessel, he doesn't contribute as much.
But like, counterpoint, I feel like the biggest problem was the Lifestealer pick. The Phoenix, I do not like the Phoenix at all. However, you have second pick, which means that your advantage is being able to counter in the draft and give yourselves winning lanes. But because they picked that Lifestealer where they did, it meant that LGD just got to pick a Slardar and completely counter it and destroy their lane.
Yeah.
And on top of that, the ideas are a little bit, sus because you want to leave your offlane for last so you can shut down Arme, right? That's probably the idea behind it. But Arme is someone who thrives even when he loses his lane. He is the best farmer in the world. So shutting him down, I don't think is the right idea. I just wanted to see Jackie have the best game possible and just work on that.
We'll have to find out what happens in game 2, as it looks like we're getting ready to go into the draft. And PSG primed to take this one, 1-0 up, and this could be the last game for SEA.
Boom Esports versus PSG LGD.
PSG LGD turn to ban.
Boom versus PSG LGD. Game 2. 1-0 to PSG LGD. We will be starting the draft, but of course, to continue any of the thoughts that you guys want to bring up just before they start drafting.
Who has first pick?
So,
all right.
PSG has the first pick, and we'll be seeing that shortly, which will be the same as the last game.
You think it'll be the exact same draft? Do you think the bans will get shaken up?
The bans
already changed.
Very good.
But that automatically means that Boom is now allowing the Marcy or the Primal Beast through. And that could be an option where Boom, they themselves love playing these heroes. So if you start banning out some of the PSG's other heroes and you flood the pool, it gets them free. But actually PSG, they respond by banning the Marcy themselves. So Boom, it's like, do we now have to ban the Primal Beast so PSG don't get it? Do we maybe ban a different hero? They take Primal Beast and we can then go for like a Clockwork or something instead. Many options.
There are so many options. There is Clockwork, there is Primal Beast that you mentioned, Undying as well. That's not really in the fondest memories of all PSG LGD's fans when it comes to crucial games. But definitely for PSG LGD there are... they still go for it. I hope I don't see Magnus now on Boom Esports side. Different era, different tournament. But
the speed in which they draft though, it's very fun. Because like PSG at this point, when you're first pick, the bans and the pick, that's the best thing that you can prepare. When you're a second pick
Game
team,
2 na to ha, Game 2, 1-0 sa LGD.
Until you see what
Sana lang, uwi na tayo.
You kind of guesstimate it, kind of, but just, PSG.
Lasting na ng Southeast Asia yan.
SCA, I've seen it in different regions. I've seen the Silencer on offlane. I've seen it work amazing against an Undying. Is that perhaps an option that they can go for as well?
I was going to bring up a completely different hero, but on the exact same thought. I was going to say, in C, I've seen a lot of Death Prophet offlane. Okay. We're thinking the same, like a ranged offlaner. Either of these heroes could potentially be good against this Undying because you can't pick these typical strength offlaners unless you have a 4 that's going to be able to buy boots and drag waves for you.
That's the problem, right? Like, it's not only the strength offlaners, it's the most picked strength position 4s that struggle against them.
Yeah.
So you need to be able to either creep skip, like you said, or you can get something like a Hoodwink as well, right? That Prophet, good call.
It's the Southeast Asia special. These guys, the entire year, all 3 tours of the DBC, this Death Prophet has been such a thing. Like Talon as well, love it as well on KP. It's just like, I don't know, I think in their minds they just have this idea of DP as a reliable laner that wins most of the time and is able to take objectives for them. It kind of just fills so many roles.
And if you guys remember the last year SCA, DP was played on safe lane, on off lane, on mid lane. It didn't matter. And who was picking it all the time? It was Scam. Like this guy, he won't be playing it here most likely. It's a 5, which was drafted a long time ago, but not any longer. However, he understands the hero completely.
An interesting thing that PSG can do is by even though the Undying will be the 5, just move him into the Visage lane potentially, and then you can pick up a different hero like Jinkyu can then lane with Arme, and you can get around it that way because, of course, you mentioned it, this Death Prophet pick, it just gives DP a free lane. If Undying's there, you don't care. You just siphon up the Undying if he comes close, the strength loss, whatever, you know? So potentially PSG can approach this opening of Boom just from changing up the lanes and what players play in what lane.
We have seen some Undyings on the offlane as well as of late, so that's a possibility, even though Visage more likely, right? Yeah. Like for Fate Beyond to get that rate packed early on. What's also really nice about Visage in this matchup is you can follow Hoodwink through the trees. You always have vision on top of her. One nuke and the little squirrel just dies. So it's an enjoyable matchup.
Visage is very strong, but not at the very beginning of the game. In the lane, he has one of the worst bats in the game, like base attack time. It takes him a long time to wind up and shoot his projectile, which means that if you place him in a lane against carries like Juggernaut, for example, they can destroy him in the CS. And when you shut down a Visage and don't let him hit that 6, it's very easy to just free farm your carry and you take advantage of that weakness to an offlane.
A really good point. Do you think that they have these carries, Tigav, that they can abuse the Visage with?
I'm trying to think about it.
Because it can be the double-edged sword as well, because even though he does not hit creeps very well, he doesn't have to go for Grave Shield. He just soul assumptions you with a lot of mangoes.
The one that comes to mind is just the Bristleback. Boom had a lot of success in their recent wins, at least, with multiple Bristlebacks game after game. That is a classic counter to the Visage. As soon as those birds get away from you, the Quills instantly kill them off. The Visage can never kill the Bristle, and also Bristle defends his tower long enough that the rest of the game isn't, Visage with the pacing.
What do you think about something like Jackie Morphling, just to get that?
I would literally think the exact same.
Yeah, that's also very strong.
Biggest brain I ever seen in my life.
Big minds.
Huge, yeah. I mean, most another hero that just destroys you in CS, and like you can't really die to the Visage because of the morph on strength and you just morph back down, heal back up with like a 1 and so, and it's really hard I think, for Visage in that lane, and they're lacking in like proper stuns right now as well on LGD. So I think this Morphling call is really nice.
This will be the difference in the draft though from Boom, because they're 18 pick, 24 picks, they're second. It's going to be, they've already locked in their offlane. They're not going to be doing some quirkiness. It's just, let's pick the best carry right now. Let's pick up most likely the best mid if they're not flexing DP there. Like, they're not going to fall into the trap where, let's go for a casual lifestealer. They've set themselves up a lot better this time.
I wouldn't mind something completely simple for Duopage. Some Ember Spirit, some Kunkka, perhaps. Okay, sure.
Instantly pick it up. To be fair though, this second phase Kunkka +1, it's very, very powerful, and Boom, I guess, maybe a little bit scared of it and just taking away themselves quickly.
Yeah, I think Yopaj likes to play this Kunkka, although I believe FBZ has played it before in the past. So this DP could also, like, they could flex whoever they want to mid or offlane depending. Like, they'll wait to see the carry and then they'll put whoever they feel matches up best there, I think, is the play. And this Hoodwink as well can go 4 or 5.
So it's still very flexible.
Yeah.
For Boom. Yeah.
Like, you have a DP offlane, typically you want to pair it with a melee 4, right? So they could pick that next at the end of the phase if they want that to be their offlane. But if they want it to go mid and you have a Kunkka offlane, then this Hoodwink is completely fine as a 4, and then you can pick a 5.
And I feel like for PSG LGD, there is no flexibility any longer. Like, this is Earthshaker Visage offlane, Undying 5, because let's hypothetically say Undying is offlane. I don't see Undying Earthshaker as being the best lane, right? Like, not that impactful. One wants to mess with the equilibrium, the other wants to dominate the lane. It's not really what you go for usually.
Okay. Holding Arme's pick for a little bit longer in the draft, they see a Kunkka, they assume it's going to be mid, even if it's offlane and DP's mid. Ember will probably be fine in both of those matchups. So, yeah, PSG trying to hold and get a little bit more information before they lock in their carry.
10 seconds
I like Morphling that we called earlier even more now.
Very good.
You get to turn into the Ember, you can mess up with the layers of Visage.
Take Tombstone if you really want.
You can take the Tombstone, obviously. The chains are good.
Ooh. They're holding on to this flex as long as possible, huh?
Yep, they're keeping this flex open. But like we mentioned, the strength of lanes, right? The DP against the Undying, that will negate that lane. You then have the Ench, just super powerful in lane. Earthshaker is a hero that kind of plays on the fringe of the lane, grabbing creep waves and stuff. Ench,
galing magban ng LGD.
And following that if needed, or even just crushing the offlaner.
You basically got 2 supports on 4 and 5, Hoodwink and Enchantress, that do not care about Undying whatsoever. These are the ones that are in strength base, that can poke him from distance.
And the ban. PSG bans out the Bristleback, as we mentioned earlier, so covering themselves a little bit there. Surely they've got to ban the Morphling as well. Like, this draft from Boom, it's so evenly distributed in their ability to take towers, to take defensive fights, to smoke and find kills. That is the perfect recipe for a Morphling to just farm behind. So yeah, I feel like that is got to be a ban. And they're just going to pick it themselves potentially, and just try and get a Skadi Morphling timing on PSG. They have the first pick before Boom, so maybe they just ban.
They have options.
Exactly.
Perhaps open themselves up for a PL, but there's Shaker, there's Ember Spirit.
Wouldn't mind a little bit more burst on LGD, just because this Enchantress is going to be the one breaking smokes throughout the game, and they don't have the spells, I think, right now to
or a vessel builder,
get rid of her. Yeah, I mean, Ember could maybe buy it, but he wants Orb of Corrosion into Maelstrom usually. I'm just considering all the things, like Earthshaker's ability to rotate on mid. They don't have any movement, mid heroes like Quap or whatever, or Puck, so they can like trap them on mid, but Kunkka and DP are both so tanky, I'm not sure how effective that will be. I would still like to see him rotate to help secure runes for Ember and give him the ability to play on the map and gang.
One option as well for PSG is going for a weirder route, potentially like a Luna. Luna with the Undying is a very strong lane that will maybe offset the DP strength. Where's it banned? Oh, sorry, I didn't see it banned second phase.
But good idea.
They
just saw it a second earlier.
Yeah, like a minute earlier. Put the hands.
I've loved Luna. People have been abusing the night vision on her really hard. It's like so rough when you're in a jungle and they see you first just because of Luna. Especially when you're like breaking smokes on each other at night. But
speaking of vision, I have a feeling that Boom might struggle in that department. You're playing versus Visage with Birds, you're playing versus Undying with Tombstone, Ember that can zip in and out of fights. It won't be that easy to just set up and take down the Tombstone on those cliffs.
Yeah, no one really hits it. Like, Lina is usually the type of hero you look at for that. Maybe if they want to... I mean, you could always put the Kunkka on a carry, right, and throw some Lina mid, or even Lina carry. That was something that started being a trend at the beginning of TI.
That's something that's plaguing. They're the ones that ban it out because they're thinking,
they're scared they're just going to block pick it, and now they're playing into a morphling, Skadi timing. And they go for a Drow. It's all about the lane. We've seen the rise of Drow.
Is PL too wild versus an Ember versus a Shaker?
Holy shit, Slack.
Holy face. But no, PL's always a weird hero because you just need a lot of time, but because Boom has built this like really well solid lineup, you can go for these greedy heroes. I guess the only caveat to that would be Visage would have a free lane, Ember should do well mid, those two cores playing well, plus Drow naturally farming its DP.
So there's a lot of things that could go wrong.
Exactly,
for PL, yeah.
Too many variables that are spooky.
I mean, a lot of people have just been going against this Drow with just more range. Sniper.
Play sniper,
yeah.
By the way, I wrote that down.
He did.
That's good.
I actually did.
He's got it
I'm
in
not
the
going to
notes.
say it, but
He did, yeah.
I can see that there's a potential sniper.
The only problem perhaps would be the Ember that can get on top of you easily.
That's terrifying, yeah. And like Earthshaker as well, being able to block you off early before you get your shard. They have a lot of ways to collapse on him really quickly. I mean, there's...
One thing that Boom is really lacking is stuns. Like, look at them. If you're hoping that Bushwhack is going to be the best thing that you've got.
What do you think about Faceless Void then? If we look at carries with stuns, usually it's like him and Wraith King.
My concern is just what damage are you providing? In the early game, some fissures will disconnect your ability to do damage. If you get Visage, he's going to be too tanky. There's Soul Rips.
I mean,
it's just a lack of damage, but it's an insurance policy. But okay,
so that's something.
They want to go for the fight. They go for the Bloodseeker. No, I see it. You rotate sniper.
No. I was going to say, why don't you actually
change
it around and actually run at them instead?
Oh, sorry, there's invisible ink.
Yeah. There's more ink here. Interesting. This is, definitely, I feel quite stressful, I will say, for Boom Esports, what they, I think, have to do against the draft. At least, what are your guys, the experts, what's your opinion?
It's definitely a complete comfort zone for SCA teams. Getting this Bloodseeker as last pick, it's good versus Drow. You have that Rupture to prevent her from running around. You can get on top of her if she can't move, right? But overall, I feel that PSG LGD's draft, once again, is just much simpler to execute.
Gotta agree again with Blizzard. I think just the fact that Drow now deals with the Death Prophet lane, you've got Visage who should just have a decent time top, and I think the main thing in this game, we spoke about off lanes in game one, it's now the mid lanes. Kunkka v Ember. Can Ember get the runes to get those rotations to unlock the pace of the game? Is Kunkka in position to counterplay? Yeah. A lot of pressure.
Well, thank you for bringing us the draft here at the panel. And yes, this could be the last match for Boom Esports. PSG looking primed to go through. And let's have a post-draft interview with Slacks, who's going to be talking to Zhao 8.
Thank you so much. I am here with Zhao 8, the brightest mind in Dota and Dota's best hygienist, and of course Helen to translate here. Okay. Drow Visage. Even I am smart enough to know that's a good combo. Nothing crazier than that? I thought you were a Dota 2 genius. You're just going back to basics?
你报道作为 Dota 的最强大脑之一，死灵龙和小黑这个绝配，连他都能想到，你觉得很厉害吗？
我就是在后台听说他聊到就想到了。
Well, I heard in backstage that you talked about it. That's why I picked it.
My bad. Okay, and the other question, are you ready for the terrifying Boom Bloodseeker? I mean, this guy has taken a lot of lives here. Were you expecting this?
你做好准备了对战 Boom 的绝活之一，他们的血魔了吗？他们很恐怖。
我们有想过他们选血魔，所以我相信我们应该会赢。
We already thought about it, so I believe that we will win.
That's what I like to hear. All right, a lot of confidence, a lot of power coming out. Thank you so much, and we will throw it over to our wonderful casters. Let's get
Okay, guys, eto na ang pinakahihintay.
Thank you so much, Lex. We do get into a game number 2 here between
isa pa?
PSG LGD. John, I've got to admit, PSG LGD game 1, they made it look way too easy. You look at these drafts, do you think it might be a bit of a closer matchup here in game 2?
I still feel like LGD does have a really strong draft on hand, but Boom, they've fallen into a couple of comfort picks. You know, you're back to the FBZ Death Prophet that we saw him play throughout the entire season from December onwards, and he's always had a great time with that. And of course, Yopaj on his Kunkka. He had to deal with nothing to say's Kunkka, but he's a Kunkka specialist himself. and now Nothing to Say is going to have to try to deal with that on his Ember, and that matchup's going to be a little bit more back and forth. So I think Boom does have a little bit more play, but just considering how easy it is to execute LGD's draft, I mean, it's Drow Visage. If they manage to get a running start, I wouldn't be surprised if they just dominate this game once more, if things go the same way as game one.
Yeah, it's certainly a very scary draft here from LGD to try and go up against, and it's like you mentioned, John, like the tempo that you can apply here from LGD, the pace you can get going is a bit too much to keep up with if Boom fall behind in this laning stage in this game number 2. We'll see if they can keep up, at least in the second game. Of course, everyone wants a third game to happen, John. We'll see if they can make it happen. So LGD, we'll start with the mid lane. Of course, you're going to have Nothing to Say there against Yopaj. On the Kunkka vs Ember, you kind of talked about the fact that these heroes are both specialties of the enemy hero on the mid lane, but who should have the inherited advantage between these two?
This does feel a little bit better for the Kunkka. I mean, you always have the Tidebringer to play with. You're not really mana constrained, whereas the Ember's going to have to juggle around with the bottle down the line, try to secure the water runes to keep that harassment up. Yopaj can just kind of dance back, toss around with the Tidebringer, get some good rotations out this time with the supports they have on hand, especially if Skem gets room to kind of swing out with a really nice creep here.
Fish block their top lane. Faith Beyond trying to get that creep equilibrium going his way. Off the back of Sin-Q. Of course, Skem and Jackie are going to be right against them, and should be a decent enough lane here for Jackie, but levels do get up. You'd have to be a little bit worried about the amount of damage Faith Beyond can pump out, especially once he does have that soul assumption up. If he does go for it at the end, you can see Skem asking quite a bit here on the Ench as well. And they just end up going for the Great Keeper's cloak instead, just to remain safe against all this harassment. We'll see what he does end up doing.
Yeah, I like this little move out from Skem. He recognizes that there's no soul assumption. He can pop some damage without being traded back favorably from the side of LGD, and just try to give some space out to Jackie. This lane is still pretty annoying for the Bloodseeker, and just getting slowed up, losing a lot of attack speed on the Bloodseeker does make it a little bit more manageable for Faith Beyond to kind of just work that lane.
What about that bot lane? Tim's and FBZ going to be against Arme and Y once again. This seems like a very potent lane here from PSG LGD. Especially once you have a couple levels up in the Frost Arrows in conjunction with the Tombstone from Y. It's just so much damage and so much slow that can be dealt out. Just like if you get caught out of position, there's just no escaping.
Yeah, it's going to be tough for Boom to try to be aggressive here. If you can gap close onto Ame, Bushwhack along with Spirit Siphon, you can kind of melt her down, but with Y blocking off the path on the Undying, you don't have too many access points to reach into that back line without copping a lot of decays, without maybe having the Tombstone come out if you overextend. So I think this is just, again, another safe lane coming out for Ame to just build up, and you shouldn't expect too much from FBZ. Maybe by the time he hits, I don't know, 5 threatening into 6 with the Exorcism ready, that's where action can pick up for Boom. Before that, unless Ame really missteps, it's going to be hard to punch that Drow.
Absolutely. No first blood being drawn quite yet. We are seeing a bit of shenanigans here from Skem and Faith VR. Bit of a pull here for Faith to be able to farm securely underneath, or rather behind that tier 1 tower. Though Skem going to be a little bit annoying just hanging around, but actually will pull his own creep wave away as we do see Sin-Q. Again, Fisher blocking here, just trying to set the creep equilibrium in the favor of LGD. Just wanting to give Faith Beyond a very easy laning stage to get started as Skem. Maybe chase down a little bit, but they have nothing to really lock him down, and eventually, this creep wave will push into the tier 1 tower. That'll mean it'll push back the other way. Faith Beyond, he might need to be a little bit patient, but eventually the creep wave is going to be his way. Sin-Q does actually find the courier of Jackie.
Yeah, nice little snipe. Jackie knew it was coming. He tried to micro it back, but he didn't manage to get far away enough. Sin-Q managed to just snipe it away. Nice little take, but Jackie did manage to get his items out, so it's not the worst thing in the world. Trying to top up in this lane is just going to be a little bit tougher. Sin-Q is out of mana. Does have the mangoes ready, but he is getting the pull off, and there's really not too much Skem can do. He doesn't have anything like the Blightstone. Level 1 enchant, not going to really slow down Sin-Q, and Faith Beyond just, again, being allowed to get that EXP, along with a fairly greedy support in the Shaker, right? He does want his own experience flowing in as well. Skem can't really stop that.
Certainly cannot. Going to that Radiant Triangle, just take some creeps away, put a ward down as well. Sin-Q will see him out of there. Is now Nothing to Say mid lane. Going to get X'd up here by Yopaj, but no Torrent to come out. Nice Fisher from Sin-Q, not going to allow the water rune to go back the way of Yopaj. And eventually, well, Thames, he will secure the bottom water rune at the very least. Nothing to Say is going to try and show up for that, but Thames will snipe it away from it. So neither mid laner able to find a rune here. It seems like LGD did adjust, because this is one thing that Boom Esports were doing very effectively in the early stage of last game, is just securing all the runes and making sure Nothing to Say couldn't get one. this time around, LGD, they're going to make sure at least Yopaj can't find his own.
Yeah, and speaking of that mid lane match, we talked about how the Kunkka Ember shapes up. Nothing to say is actually working lane a lot better. 25-7 now on CS compared to Yopaj, just stuck at 20-4. Good lead here coming out from Nothing to Say. He's managing to even sneak away the bounty rune there. There's a little bit of action across the map as they try to jump it. They don't really have stuns on Boomsend unless they manage to get a good enchanted feat from Skim, kind of punish Faith Beyond. And so far, this kind of static game, it does feel favorable for LGD. I mean, once they build the levels up, you get the marksmanship up, you get the familiars up, and you have this Ember dancing around you, it's very easy for them to jump in and take these fights and go for objectives if Boom isn't careful.
Absolutely. Bot lane, a bit of aggression happening towards Y, it seems. He does drop rather low on the Undying, but still remains just fine. He has not skilled up too much or Soul Rip yet. He's waiting with that skill point. The right moment to see exactly what he needs, but for now, he's being very, very patient. Doesn't seem like Boom's been too aggressive down at the bot lane either, so it seems like both sides just very satisfied farming up for now throughout this laning stage. We are yet to see a kill to come out. Not really many rotations happening either, though mid lane, Nothing to Say, gonna get X back into a torrent. A little damage to follow up though. Yopaj gonna force the reset out of Nothing to Say. He can always just remnant back into the mid lane anyway. Meanwhile, bot lane, Y, he's gonna deny himself off. Nothing to go back the way of Boom. Quick reset for himself. Can always just TP right back to the lane. It's the 6-minute power runes now. A spawn up. It's going to be down bottom as Yopaj able to take with the DD. However, for the Hoodwink, that's a nice bushwhack out. Nothing to Say, dropping rather low. Will remnant back the other way. However, you've got the enchant there from Scam. Controlling up Nothing to Say. They might have the damage, but Sin-Q is going to show up with the Fisher. Make sure they can't keep chasing, so instead they've got to go after the Shaker. But it might be first one to go the way of Yopaj. That Y is still around. He did drop the tombstone here as now Yopaj does get chained up by Nothing to Say, but there's not going to be much out of this. Just not enough damage. Boom, it seems like they're happy with what they've got.
And forcing attention onto Yopaj. He's been playing around really aggressively with that potential on the 6. Of course, it's hard to lock something in like the Ember. Maybe a bit of a small mistake. Didn't manage to really get the X off when he got that initial control on Nothing to Say before he zipped away. But you still find the big kills. You find that first blood. You're buying space out for Jackie, who has had a very free top lane now. So your Bloodseeker is going to meet that initial item timings you're looking for. The Maelstrom coming out, BKB down the line to Shard once the time is ready. And it's going to be pretty tough to shove Jackie away. You still have concerns about Ame though. He's not too shabby down bot either, and FBZ's not able to do as much. But the power spikes are lining up for both sides. Familiar's going to be up for Faith Beyond soon enough. You can just camp that lane up top and keep it shoved out. And FBZ can always threaten with the Exorcism once it's ready.
A bit of slow up Jackie, but not needing too much. Meanwhile, mid lane, however, they've got the Ember stunned up, but Nothing to Say. Got the remnant out in time. They can't really follow up onto the Ember Spirit for now. Bushwhack, though, is going to land from Tim's. Yopaj going to show up once again, forcing the remnants forward. However, they've even got the Inch there. A nice little juke away from Nothing to Say, but they've got the X back with the bow, and they will find the Ember. That's a much bigger kill coming up from Boom. A much better start from Boom Esports.
The aggression's lining up. Tim's and Scam were rotating in, but they weren't finding kills. This time around, they're able to play off the setup Yopaj had and dance around it. Sin-Q trying to block off this push. Not the fastest coming out from Boom, especially without FBZ around to kind of speed that up with the EXO. But they are chipping away slowly, forcing out responses here.
Still a fair bit of damage thanks to the enchant of Scam, as they are going to try and at least chase down the Hoodwink. Tim still finds the bushwhack back onto Nothing to Say as he does run towards the south. Might actually make it up, but no, he does go down. Scam, he's in danger himself, but the heals are out as FBZ's going to rotate on the DP. Make sure they can't go for too much more. It seems like they are looking for the tombstone, but it may just be too late in the end. Just eventually expire. So 1-3 now, 2k advantage the way of Boom. Still at anyone's game really at this early stage. Seems like a very nice start compared to the last game though, at least for this dire side.
We're finding a little bit more. These small wins are starting to rack up a little bit. Jackie's had all the space in the world to keep farming. Does have a rupture up, but he's being surrounded here.
Fish is there. Jackie, can he find his way out of this one? They've got the familiars to back him up. Jackie's still running. Doesn't seem like he's taking too much damage. In fact, now the rupture is there. Xin-Q gonna try and get his way out, but it's not gonna work. The torrent is there. Familiars, they will stun a little bit, but Xin-Q understands he cannot get away. So Yopaj, he'll take his third kill of the game on the Kunkka.
Just so much activity coming out from Yopaj, and instantly an EXO coming out here as well from FFZ. Trying to take that bot tier 1 tower. The push threat is online for Boom. And LGD, we haven't really seen them group up yet with the threat of the familiars. Again, you kind of want to just camp a lane, keep that farm up, slow down the core. They're not able to threaten in the same way Boom is right now.
Certainly not. BZ able to secure that bottom team once. All 3 cores of Boom now top to their worth board. This is basically a mirror switch of what happened in game 1, at least for now. LGD, they might still be confident in their own timing with this Visage kind of draft. Might just take it easy, get their farm going, just trying to avoid the side of Boom. But Boom for now, they want to fight, and you can see it as Yopaj going for a bit of a chase onto Nothing to Say. Won't end up going for the X up yet. In fact, now he's the one on the run. There might be somebody to cut him off soon, but no, it's only Y on the Undying. No way for him to really lock down the Kunkka. They'll just try and take these stacks away before they are forced to lead this dire jungle.
Yeah, they take a creep off from Yopaj. Not the biggest loss in the world here for Boom. They did manage to find a tier 1 tower trade eventually from LGD's end, clearing out top. That does give them some good forward control here. There are defensive wards out from Boom to check if anyone is sneaking around the top jungle. And they've switched Jackie around anyway to play into the triangle. So the build-up is still there. Still a rather even game, 1-4, 3K lead for Boom, slight advantage for them. On LGD, it feels like we haven't seen them play with their own strengths yet. You know, they're just taking their time, they're building up, they're not losing too much off the map. So things don't feel too bad for LGD at the moment, despite being a little bit behind.
Yeah, still plenty of map control available on their own things. CQ, a bit of de-warding out. Very nice, just securing that Radiant jungle. There's Nothing to Say. He had a bit of a slower start, working towards the Yule Scepter now, so a bit more of a defensive build for himself. Be able to purge off all these spells that are flying out from Burmers. You are going to have the fish around onto FBZ, but it's not going to lead to too much. They will spread out Jackie on the Bloodseeker. He's just going to be very confident to stick around here, though. There's Boom. Bit of a smoke up, but there's a counter smoke coming from LGD. See which one finds which first. Yopaj. He's make his way down south. Why? SinQ trying to hide right now. Just don't give the opening away. SinQ having a very tough time already. Always getting caught out here by Yopaj. Oh, Nothing to Say. He's a much bigger target. They are going to land the X onto the Ember. This could be a fantastic start if they can find him, but they won't. The torrent will be off the mark, and the Fisher will be there, so Nothing to Say. A very nice juke out. We'll be able to TP back towards the base.
Yeah, really great juke. Dodges out with the Sleight of Fist. The silence would have been on point, and that could have set up for the side of Boom to find that kill. Nothing to Say. Quick fingers, though, does bail out in the nick of time. Boom, not going to find too much of the trouble. They do invade the bot jungle, and they're buying space out for Jackie to keep his farm game up. Maelstrom already on the way out. Same could be said for LGD. Full Vlad's already up in Faith Beyond. Not too far away from the raid pack from this point. And once that's up, all that damage mitigation, all that durability of the Visage up front, it's going to make these fights feel pretty awkward for Boom if they're not careful. If they can't manage to maybe isolate the Visage or just take it out of the equation early on.
That's very rough against this hero, right? Like, just so tanky with the Gravekeeper's Cloak, and like you mentioned, the Wraith Pack to come out makes it even tougher here to deal with Faith Beyond. One of his specialty heroes as well. We used to watch him years and years ago playing this hero, and see now it's back in meta. That Visage is very, very scary to have to try and play against. Damage being dealt up as the Scam top lane. So Nothing to Say, just kind of poking and prodding at the edge. Scam going to be just fine to stick around, though. Has his own way of healing himself. The Seeds of Serenity, I believe it is, and just fine to stick around. Nothing to Say, still trying to poke and prod, but it seems like the Ench just going to keep kind of sticking around that top lane. Both sides just very comfortable with farming at the moment. Nobody's rushing for a fight. They're both trying to hit their own timings throughout this mid-game. They'll just sit back, relax. You kind of wonder who this favors, right? Because you did have a pretty decent lead for Boom, and they still hold on to that lead, but is there a timing they're looking to kind of hit? Because you can kind of tell LGD are trying to hit their own timing throughout that mid-game with this Visage.
I think you're okay on Boom. You're just working towards those initial BKBs. Yopaj, very close to his. It's still lacking the recipe gold, but it's going to come out eventually. FBZ, only lacking the recipe. So once you have at least 2 of these BKBs ready to go, you're going to be able to group up, try to look for those fights, try to find those objectives, and then you really start to hurt LGD's farm. For now, if this drags on, say, past the 20-minute mark in the staticness, LGD starts to feel really good. They're going to have their own BKBs. They're going to have their own level spikes. Maybe even down the line, the blink out from SinQ starts to pop up. And you just have issues in these team fights. It's already really hard to lock in Nothing to Say. You're going to have to clump up for it. And once you're clumped up, SinQ and Faith Beyond are going to get to town.
See another smoke out. Boom, they'll head down towards the south, through the mid lane. Who are they going to find? Faith Beyond on that Visage showing up with those familiars. There'll be an X out. This could be a big pickoff, but the familiar stuns are going to be there. Still, the X is going to make it in time for the boat to land. They'll find Faith Beyond. The familiars may not be so lucky either, as they would at least find one of them. And now they are into that mid-tier tower with the exorcism. Not going to be too hard. In fact, they found Xingqiu now on the Earthshaker. They'll find a second. Tim's just sniping from a mile away with that sharpshooter, slowing him down, and well, that'll be the mid-tier 1 tower gone.
And that's the timing we were talking about. Not quite the BKBs coming out, but
why?
Find more.
Trying to protect that ready and triangle. A lot of damage coming out from Arme, but not quite enough to finish off the job as Yopaj able to find his 4th kill of the game. Trains will not land on any. FBZ going to try and put the TP up, but the familiars will be there just in the nick of time. They will find at least something for their trouble.
They get the big target out from LGD's end. It comes at heavy cost. And those kills, the tower take from Boom still feel a lot better for them to play off. And now the map shrinks a little bit more for LGD. They still have time to build up. And you are still getting some decent build up here on Ame. He's allowed to just play in that triangle. No contention coming out from Boom in that area outside of that one invasion. And they're just praying and hoping that eventually the Drow and the Ember are just going to be really hard to handle. For Boom, the BKBs are still on their way. That spell means he's going to be a really big factor in the middle of these fights. The full raid pack is up on Faith Beyond. So again, if he does manage to use that item in time, Boom might have to spend more time trying to find that kill and give enough leeway for LGD to respond.
Xingqiu gets spotted out here. Scam will move in. Yopaj, she'll be there with the backup. X into the torrent will connect, and it seems like Xingqiu just has no way out of this one. They will lock him down with the bushwhack and take him out once again. That'll be the 5th kill for the Kunkka. Yopaj off to a fantastic start, 16 minutes in. They top lane, they might have a look at nothing to say. Can they land the silence though with the bushwhack? It seems like they will be able to find the bushwhack as FBZ, the sharpshooter, is going to be up at the Ember. Has the Yule Scepter, will go for the remnant towards the left side, and looks like he's going to be just fine. He does have the stick charges. They don't have the burst damage for nothing to say.
He needed the +1 to try to find that kill. Valiant effort, not quite what they want, but it does shove nothing to say away, giving him more space again elsewhere to keep that farm game up. And Jackie is still getting his own build up. His own BKB is almost done. So it possibly could be just a triple BKB timing for Boom, where LGD, they're not going to have that same level of protection. Outside of the Ewelts coming out here on Nothing to Say, they're going to be very vulnerable to damage here.
Oh, nice chains out from Nothing to Say. Fisher will be there to follow up. The Tombstone has been dropped as well. This is going to be a fair bit of damage as the cast will land on both. Yopaj, he does a BKB up. He'll pop it immediately, but it seems like they just want to at least take this Tombstone down to get this team fight started. It will get denied off. Multi-shot there from Arme. It's a lot of damage, but Yopaj, he'll keep forward, keep moving forward. At least the Xingqiu does go for a Fisher, but he's trapped in the tree line right now. The bow will fly in. The sharpshooter's there. They'll find at least one as Tims will look for a bit more now, but Nothing to Say is just fine. He's going to be able to back his way out. They'll only find the Shaker. Still 2-9, 6k advantage. This whole time, Jackie is free farming. Mid lane, in they go again. They found Yopaj another time. This time Arme, he's got so much damage, and they will be able to find that mid Kunkka. There's nothing to say. He wants a little bit more. He'll move in, but the silence is out from FBZ. Yules is out there to lock down FBZs. They should have the slows as well, but FBZ, he'll BKB up. He'll be just fine to back his own way away. They cannot lock him down through the BKB. They do find a decent kill in the Kunkka, but that's going to be a bad for LGD.
I think you're pretty happy for LGD though. You force out those initial BKB uses, you only really lose your support, and you're starting to get some activity out from Ame. He's more than willing to join into these fights. So Boom have to be really cautious about going in like that. You can't afford to just fully commit onto supports. You need bigger targets to kill off. Once those BKBs fade, LGD can just kind of dance around, and once they shrink in duration, these fights become a lot harder for Boom to kind of find their openings for.
The shot is there. FTC does get locked down. Looks like LGD are ready to try and push forward here against Boom, but they're unable to really find the lockdown they're looking for. LGD, they will retreat, look for a better moment for themselves. Yopaj hanging around, but he might be a bit too much of a tanky target to try and go on. LGD still hanging around on the low ground, but doesn't seem like they're going to try and make their way up to the high ground for now. Meanwhile, again, I think the main kind of focus you have to have on here is Jackie on that Bloodseeker. He's 10k net worth right now. He's just absolutely huge. And Ame, he's not too far behind, but Jackie just seems like he's getting away with it a little bit too much. They will see nothing to say. No way to lock down the Ember, so he'll just kind of ignore him and go for the creep wave. And letting Jackie farm like this, always a scary affair.
Yeah, he just knows how to work the map really well. Very efficient as a carry. Has been for a long time. Since his time on Motivate Trust. Speaking of Motivate Trust, I believe his former teammates here, Mr. Fearless, all the way from Thailand. Lots of people watching, of course. Working onto the Basher here for Jackie. So, gonna try to get some control going his way. Again, with all the room he has, that Basher time is gonna be pretty good. Yo, Pasho.
Beyond, he'll lose it to Milia. X is there on nothing to say, but he's going to remnant out a little bit too early, so the X-Back is there. It won't matter though, the follow-up is not going to be up from Boom. Be a smoke out though, Boom. They can find with this. Wrap around through that dire jungle. It's like LGD, they have smoked themselves as well. Both sides, looking for that opportunity. It's a bit harder for Boom to try and make the way through the Radiant Triangle, just not having the vision. But LGD might be waiting. Ame, he's a huge target. The X is there. They have a way to drag him back, but the torrent's not going to land in time. Oh, they mistime it. Why? He moved in to try and defend Ame and has done so. Meanwhile, Jackie gets caught out. He does pop his BKB in the stick charges. He'll barely survive. Meanwhile, FBZ in the middle of nowhere is forced to pop his own BKB and make his own retreat. Fisher, though, gonna lock a couple down into the follow-up. Tim's trying to run. More stick charges. Yopaj, he'll finally throw the boat out, but the chains are there to lock him down with the familiars. Yopaj, which way is he going? He wants a Roshan tonight, but he's not gonna find it. Faith Beyond will be able to take the killers. Now nothing to say. He'll find another. It's gonna be Scam on the edge. The Fisher will be enough to just keep him down and take him out. That's 2 down for the side of Boom Esports. LGD really finding a great way of pushing back here against the Dire.
It boiled down to just small mistakes, not being able to kill off Ame. He did have the Force Staff to save, so that did complicate that in that fight. Having that way of just dodging out from control from Boom. And those are massive losses. Like, even Scam dying there, he had a gem. Free gem coming out for LGD. They just love the Roshan. You're starting to see that power of the Drow and the Visage. They just do so much work when they're grouped up together. And Boom, they've got to be a little bit more careful. They miss out on the torrent, as we see in the replay, and it just kind of falls apart from there.
It certainly does. They just retreat in time, like Jackie getting caught out, barely surviving through that. The Echo Slam proving not to be enough damage here from Q, and even FBZ forced to pop his own BKB. LGD doing a fantastic job of just kiting this team fight out perfectly, and of course the reinitiation there from Q is exactly what kind of allowed them to punish Yopaj, who had no choice but to try and go for the deny with the Roshan, but just doesn't end up working out in his favor. Just unable to get the attack animation off with the slows from Faith Beyond.
For Boom, I mean, it's just getting a little bit difficult. LGD, with the Aegis up, can take a little bit more risk in these fights. They could look to just take more objectives. The mid-tier one still standing could be a nice, juicy one to start to force into the Boom's jungle and just shrink the map even more. Like, they are just still getting built up everywhere else. Like, Yopaj with the plate mail going to feel a lot more durable up front, but again, it just boils back to burst damage. If Fate Beyond puts his body forward with a raid packed up, he is such a huge nuisance that you do have to notice. You can't just ignore the Visage in these fights, but they also can't handle it. And they have to execute here on Boom. It just feels like, again, we're seeing that difference in execution here, Mike, where LGD, it's a very well-oiled machine. And Boom, sometimes, every now and again, there's a little bit of jankiness in that movement out.
It certainly is. LGD grouped up top lane, maybe going for a bit of a push on that tier 2 tower. They've hit a very nice timing now. With the security of the Aegis for Ame, feel very safe moving into this tower, but there is going to be a smoke up from Boom. They want to try and defend this. Up through the mid-river, there'll be a double damage available on Yopaj. That could be the exact buff they kind of need here to take the fight on with LGD.
Your admiral is on board.
See if they can find Q in the back first. Because Fate's Beyond going to be there as well, but they're all in the tree line. Q pings around, but a nice Fisher. Q locking down a couple again into the Echo. FBZ, he will get the BKB off in time. They'll still trying to force the fight, but is this the one they really wanted? The boat is out. Yopaj, he's already retreating. He can't find the target he really needed to go after. And now FBZ, another nice Fisher. Take him out. Scam, he'll get used up. He's not making it out either. Now LGD, it just seems like they knew they were coming. They had just the superior vision, stayed in the trade line, and just surprised them and just don't show anyone.
SinQ just in the perfect spot to break that smoke.
May AG siya, hindi man lang
overcommit. They feel the pressure to try to make these plays. They don't manage to land on targets they want, and SinQ's just been a nuisance with these Fishers throughout all these fights, just finding the perfect angles to cut off Boom.
He has SinQ a real nuisance. So, Pudge, you saw he trying to find Arme this whole time, but just unable to get him. It's the ward placement here from LGD, just fully prepped for that fight. Actually, Lee Scam will be the second pick-up here. So LGD really looking quite strong now. Still a 2k net worth lead available for Boom, but it's really nothing to write home about. We're 25 minutes into the game. It's a very even one between these two teams. Still could go either way, but it's all about these team fights. It's all about the next Roshans. Speaking of Roshans, Aegis is still available for Arme, so you just never really had the risk of losing it this whole time. You kind of wonder, what does Boom do now? Like, do you want to slow down the game? Do you keep trying to find LGD? Like, what's the idea?
Step lively now.
You need to at least maintain equilibrium here. Don't lose ground up against LGD. They've lost their gold lead entirely. You've got some protection coming out now for Ame. Lincoln Sphere up. So you can't just try to X her back. And that just makes things so much more difficult. Feels like this game is starting to boil down to Tim's getting a good pushback off. Easier said than done. When the Drow is sitting so far away, they could try to mount defense for the tier 1, but it's pretty late in the game to kind of keep that alive.
Change their route, that's a big target. Yopaj once again forced the BKB early just to run his way up, but they'll still lose the mid tier 1 tower. A double damage rune also being spotted out there. Skem might be able to deny it off and does. They'll get away with it, not allowing nothing to say to pick that one up for himself. He's bottled it up. That LGD, they'll take over that dire triangle. Very strong position, deny more farm away from Jackie. They might just try and head over to the other side of the map. It just doesn't feel like they're ready to actually fight yet.
They've got so much to play with now on LGD. It just feels like when you've got these heroes that can constantly run in and slowly poke and prod, Witty Ember, you've got the mobility coming out now on SinQ. He's got the full blink up with a slam ready to go, and he's been a menace without that blink. When that blink up, it's just going to be so much more difficult for Boom to get anything done. But LGD in a really good spot right now. 7 to 10, slightly behind in kills, not fully back in net worth, but they've evened that deficit out. And they're the ones with the initiative. They're the ones working the map well. They're the ones forcing these issues onto Boom.
He's been spotted. Why? He'll move in with the Glimmer Cape. Jackie seems to know they're right behind him. A nice Fisher out from SinQ, and Jackie's been locked down. Oh, it's a massive kill out for LGD. Tims also being chased down. They won't mind losing the Hoodwink. They got the POS 1 Bloodseeker.
Massive win for LGD. Jackie just trying to farm where he can. LGD understanding that where they have to be. They have got good wards watching that top jungle. They just came from the triangle, so they knew the only spot Jackie would have to be in is in that triangle on the Radiant side. And the punishment is severe. LGD, the damage output coming out from Ame just with a Hurricane Pike and the Lincoln Sphere, it's more than enough. No one's there to gap close. And that marksmanship aura is always going to be active.
And it will. Very tough. We just haven't seen any kind of risk for Ame at all. He's always just been in the perfect position every single time. Just unable to catch him out. As he continues that farm now, top of the net worth board on the Drow. Nothing to slow him down. GD, that well-oiled machine you talked about, now well and truly running now as they're the ones that need to try and find an answer for this game number 2. You kind of wonder what they do here, though. I mean, they're sitting back for now. They're just playing a little bit defensively, but it just feels like they've lost all the lead they had. And with the time that LGD's hit, they can just take their time with this one. There's just no rush for game 2.
Just build up, keep getting that form you want onto your Drow. I think the one thing Boom could try to do, a little bit cheeky, go for the shard on Yopaj ASAP. Get the tidal wave, pull back the Drow. That could be one way for you to get Ame out of position. Easier said than done, but it feels like you need that disruptiveness in these fights. The Ag shard, maybe even the Ags down the line, because you're not seeing any big BKBs here.
Thank you.
Side of LGD.
Gonna jump in. He has found Tims on the Hoodwink. 4 staff away may not be enough, but no, it will be. They've got double. Tims looking just fine as the zombie will chase him down, but he won't be enough to pursue any further. LGD is still very careful themselves. They're not overextending, they're not giving any openings over to Boom. Want to fight nearby that tier 2 tower in the mid lane. Now Jackie, walking on towards his Eye of Skadi, has a Blink Dagger up as well. Yopaj will try to rotate to defend the bot lane. It does do so, but can't find the familiars.
Oh, yun lang. GG.
8 to 10. Still a 2k advantage the way of LGD. Still a very close match, but it does feel like Boom are the ones that need to find an answer, as they might smoke up, and they do. Smoke on smoke situation. Across the other side of the map, the only thing they really see right now are the familiars. Because FBZ, he'll just try to secure those instead, and well, he gets one of them, might find a second, but they are going to be spawned back up by Faith Beyond.
Really awkward position for both sides. Roche still a ways off, so even if you lose this next fight, you might have the opportunity to fight back.
Thank you. Very aggressive play. We'll get X'd up back to the turret and the boat. They might find the Shaker, and they will. It's something. Nothing to say. Shows the mid lane will creep skip. Backs towards his team once again. Both sides just waiting for the next Roshan. Still a couple minutes away though. Seems like Boom will try to infiltrate their jungle once again. Some the wards off while they can. FBZ who will look for the outpost. LGD, they are grouped up, ready to go whenever. It seems like they are not going to make the jump in. Not yet at least. Again, Roshan still a bit away though. Gonna move on to FBZ. Just fine though. Just a bit of chip damage coming up from Nothing to Say.
Yeah, they're working to this point where they might get this blink up on Tim's. So you're going to have a little bit more of an easier time for the Hoodwink to try to line up those hits with a Bushwhack, get that much needed control in the middle of these fights. Again, it does feel like a lot of it starts to boil down onto Tim's trying to surprise him. The X is just a little bit too telegraphed. You've got the BKB up and running as well for Ame, so much easier for him to dodge out if need be in the middle of these engagements as well.
Chains around on the edge. Skim. Just fine to back his way out. No problems here. Shun now 1 minute away. LGD, they're the ones that are really keeping tabs with these familiars, but do at least have the skeletons coming in from Skem as well. They're going to go for a smoke. We've got a 5-on-5 situation here in the mid lane. Who gets up in the initiation first? The Fisher is there, but the BKBs are out in time. The Tombstone is being focused. Both sides not really sure if they want
wala na kayong
He's
BKB,
getting jumped on. They found Yopaj, but the boat is out in time. Forced up away. They need to save the Kunkka. Scam, he's the one in trouble, but no, they look back towards Yopaj. They should have him. Faith Beyond takes him down onto FBZ. They'll find the death prop and they'll just burst him down. So much damage coming up from Faith Beyond. Name just standing right behind him. It's like, how do you actually get to this drow or the Visage?
They have no reach. It just boils down to the fact that they don't have a high mobility initiator that can dance in, something like the Ember of Nothing to Say, to try to catch the backline, to try to stop Ame from dishing a million damage in one engage. On the back of that, with a double damage rune, of course, for Ame. Roche doesn't last too long here. Boom. They have a great start. It just gets harder from here, it feels like. Even with all the durability in Yopaj with the AC, if no one can touch Ame, all the armor in the world doesn't matter.
Yeah. GD once again now a 6k advantage. You'll see the replay, and there was a nice initiation, at least from Q, forcing out 3 BKBs with that one Fisher. And they just retreat immediately after seeing those BKBs. Just no hesitation from LGD. They understand they just need to wait those out, move back in, and then just get right to work. Like, you can try to run, but there's just so much slow available here as they are even going for tier 3 towers now. LGD, they understand the lead they have. Boom, again, they just haven't found the opening throughout this game. They will try to slow it down, but the tier 3 tower's already gone. Shot there from Ame, just scouting out Yopaj, will hold down the Kunkka as there's your Bushwhack out. They find Nothing to Say, but he's got the Yule Scepter. Target is going to take the rupture, but it's not going to be it. The Sharpshooter, he...
Ano ba, GG?
Jukes it out! Oh, what a juke from Nothing to Say! Fisher is there, CQ
naman sa dodge yun. GG. Walang nga yung blood shaker ayaw lumape.
This is looking real bad now.
Ay, tatapusin yan.
They will go for the tier 4 towers. How do you stop
blood shaker, oh.
It's difficult. Maybe
walang
you
yata ako.
wave back. We saw Yopaj trying to make that play, but man, it's so much easier to do what LGD is doing. Just keep pushing in, play with the damage you have on hand, fortify forest out. Tier 4 about to fall, 16 HP left. LGD so confident, they still
Walang
have
yatakot
ages
ng
left.
Bloodseeker, oh.
Absolutely not.
Di
The T4 Towers
makalapit.
once again, Skim trying to set up. He did buy back, but it's just waiting for a few more respawns. The T4s are dropping so darn low. They're on
Yeah.
to the Ancient now, Boom. Still
Oh.
waiting for the respawns, but they're not coming in time. They've got to try and rush for this, but the Ancient is just completely going down. Xingqiu is holding everyone back. They finally make it in, but it's too late. It is just too late. LGD. I can't sugarcoat it, John. They made this series look easy. 2-0 the way of LGD. And what can I say? Boom Esports, they tried their best, but just weren't the better team today.
It was such the journey out from Boom, of course.
Wala,
A
pagka
1.4%
LGD
chance
kalaban ng
even
Boom,
come
walang
into
magawa.
that
Ba't
lower
ganon?
bracket that they beat Team Spirit in.
Hindi kayang
And now
kaya.
having to face LGD a lot. The big favorite for a lot of people to win TI itself, or at least make it to the grand finals. They put up a fight, LGD, they come back so strong here. We're seeing that strength that might have been a little bit more up and down in groups, that might not have shown in the early days of the playoffs.
Yeah.
LGD, they look to be back in fine form.
Just such a calm team, just such a coordinated team. Is see, very composed, no emotions here from LGD. It's just
Ang layo
another
pala
day for
noon,
them, another 2-0
magkalayo
victory.
pala.
And just look towards the next day is, of course, for Boom. A pretty tough loss, John. A lot of these players on Boom, first TI for them, and they do have to leave through the lower bracket round of 2, but it happens.
It happens. And again, just their journey to TI was a bit of a
Bloodseeker,
rocky one.
ayun.
Everyone had high expectations coming into the majors, coming into all the other tournaments. They do pretty good here, I think. They've improved a lot, just a lot more to work on.
Well, with that,
Hindi ko
let's see
nakita
what
sa
our panel
mapa.
has to say about this game too, as we are going to throw back to them.
Thank you very much, MLP Dota and John X-Fire, and congratulations to PSG LGD. They really got some wind in their sails in the series and will continue their run in the lower bracket. But of course, that means that Boom Esports, the last SEA team, are out. And another 0-2. What do you guys make of the match?
It was clinical, I would say. Right, like the way PSG LGD, I believe MLP said it the best as well. Cool, collected, calm, the whole game. The way they played against Boom was just on point, just showing their class. Literally every single part of the game, even though they were losing a little bit at the beginning,
Hey guys,
it
thank
never
you
felt like
sa lahat
it's
ng
out of their
nanonood.
hands, out of their control.
Like ng
The way they
page.
fight is
Thank
they
you.
force you to fight where they want
Bukas
to.
ulit,
And they have
OG.
an undying with the tombstone. They force you next to a
OG
cliff, they pop that
ano
tombstone
ba yun?
on the cliff,
Gaming
they win every single
Gladiators.
fight off
Thank
that.
you.
Yeah, Sheep, you mentioned